want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right, so now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack. But then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And, dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you iron. Did we get disconnected? Did we get disconnected out here in these streets? Oh man, here we go with this. So I had to go to the different stream, or I had to go with a different connection because apparently we having problems with the connection. But we here. So what's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning into the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and we are in the building. Nothing is stopping what we got going on today. Nothing is stopping what we got going on today. So what up? No, it wasn't y'all. It was my connection. So we going to get there, and we appreciate y'all. So I'm pretty sure that y'all probably missed a little bit of the Tiege commercial, but it's all right. Make sure y'all get that Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. It's a phenomenal product. Thank you, Tiege Hanley, for continuing to hold us down. Nothing stops the movement, man. Nothing stops the movement. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It is Monday, September 9th, 2024, year of our Lord. Let me give people a little bit of insight on what monk mode is. So earlier today, earlier this morning, I dropped a video that was basically explaining what my life was like on the weekends. And so yesterday, I initially thought that I was going to attend the Lions game, and what a phenomenal game that it was. It was a great game. They beat the Los Angeles Rams right here in Detroit. I think that we're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but that's just my opinion. I'm a Detroit man, which means I'm a Detroit fan, right? And so I didn't make it to the game, though. I could have went to the game, but I didn't make it to the game. And I also had a conversation with my wife, right? And that conversation was, hey, listen, it's September, it's the 9th. It's roughly 4 months until we get into the new year, a little less than 4 months until we get into the new year. And I got to go into monk mode. And so a lot of people asking me, Anton, what is monk mode? And monk mode is kind of something spiritual, but I like to expand it to being something that everybody can embrace because everybody don't believe like me, right? And so I gave it the name monk mode, but in a sense, it allows for you to recenter yourself and refocus on certain things. So it's some things that you may want to solve for in your life. Maybe you got some problems. You know, we've seen what was happening with Rich Homie Quan, and I think personally that addiction is a big deal. That's not something that I deal with personally as far as drug addiction, but I think that everybody has vices. Everybody has weaknesses. And if we don't address them, and this is largely something that I speak to men about, but I definitely want to make sure that women help y'all to understand that women can embrace this too. We run on this treadmill every single day and we don't stop and take accountability, or we don't take inventory of what our lives are really like. And so we just run. And you find yourself in the same position or worse every single year. You keep doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results. And you don't really understand what's happening in your life. And so, you know, most people, they all do it at the same time and they all fall off within the first 15 days or 2 weeks, right? And so what they do is they go into the new year, they say, oh God, we got New Year's resolutions. And then all of the gyms make a whole bunch of money because they all know that y'all gonna sign up. The people that are regulars at the gym, they get upset because they already know that they're gonna have to pull back a little bit or go at a different time because they know all of y'all gonna rush in at the same time. And then they know within a month, everything is gonna go back to normal. People gonna go back to their lives. Nobody is really gonna do anything, and you're not gonna get the results that you want. My mic is messing up? All right, hold on, give me a second. I don't know what's going on today. How we doing? Is my mic good? Is my mic good? We good? Y'all let me know if my mic is sounding any better. Let me know. I don't like these technical difficulties on a Monday. It's not good. Mic was fine, so that means that y'all need to leave out and come back in. All right. But anyways, the point is that some of y'all may need to leave out and come back in because we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, so that might be affecting y'all. But the point is that these gyms, they know that it's an opportunity to capture all of your money. And then after they capture all of your money, you're going to fall off. You're going to go back to the thing that you normally was. And you're not going to be going back to the gym or whatever your New Year's resolutions are. It's going to be dead, right? And so this can apply to both men and women. But, you know, I usually adapt it to men more because I speak more with men or speak more towards men because I understand that the greatness of any community is based off of how great their men are, right? And so what I tell people to do, and what I dropped in this morning on the Anton Daniels channel, was a video that basically said it's time to go into monk mode. And yesterday, instead of going to the Lions game, instead of going to hang out at brunch, instead of going to spend a whole bunch of time with people, my daughter, my wife, the people that surround me, they understand that it's time for me to recenter on myself. And you have heard me say often at times, you have to be selfish before you can be selfless. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You have to be selfless or selfish before you can be selfless, because you cannot pour out of an empty cup. You can't add value into people if you're broken as an individual. You can't go into a relationship thinking that you can be interdependent on somebody else for your happiness, because then if they have a bad day, then everything just crashes out. In every aspect of your life, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially, sexually. I know it's a lot of people that that in society, I ain't even gonna say a lot of people that watch this. It's just a lot of people in society that spend a lot of time masturbating. They can't shake it, even if they're not getting box or even if they're not addicted to box. And some of us have become so, I've heard some of the wildest stories. Some of y'all have become so sexually deviant to where unless it's something that's just out of this world crazy, you don't even get off no more. You can't even get it up unless you throw a pill in. Some of us have been eating this trash food, fast food. It's bad enough the stuff that's in the grocery stores got all of this preservatives and coloring number 9 in it and all of this stuff. We've been eating trash for so long that our body is adapted to it. And so if you fast for 7 days straight, your body is going to be going through a withdrawal, and it's almost going to be like you on meth. It's going to be like you on crack. It's going to be like you on heroin, and your body going to go through a withdrawal. You're going to be shaking. Some of us are so addicted to day naps and stuff like that. Some of us are so focused on smoking trees so much that you don't even have no clarity no more. Your entire view of life is skewed. Your entire life is a smoke. It's fog. It's foggy. And you think that that's the way that you're supposed to see things, and that's your norm because you've been doing it for so long that you forgot what being clear looks like. Some of us ain't picked up a book in so long that we ignorant. And so we depend on other people on the internet. And a lot of them is giving y'all bad information on talking points on how you supposed to do things. You ain't talked to God in so long because you just been coasting. And that's why God said that he don't like lukewarm, because see, if you're doing really well, he can deal with you. If you're doing really bad, you're going to fall back into God. But usually the people that's just coasting in the middle, they just forget. And it just becomes a norm because they haven't had to do anything extra or extraordinary in order to get to a different point, which would require more than what the general public do. And that's the thing that people are missing about this situation, is that in order to be or get some extraordinary results, you got to do stuff that you ain't never did before. Not only you have to do things that the majority of the population are not willing to do. And so when everybody else is partying, when everybody else is doing things, when I could have been just okay and everything would have been just fine as far as going through on the weekend and Sunday, and I did have to do a live stream yesterday, but when I could have went out and partied and went out to the game and did whatever it is that everybody else was doing, I decided to come into the studio and from 10:30 a.m. until about 9 p.m. last night. So I'm 11 and a half hours in on Sunday. I'm redoing the studio. I'm setting stuff up. I'm putting new computers in. I'm working. I'm setting up for Monday. I'm setting up for the week. I'm redoing some graphics, tweaking some things here, preparing for the upcoming show, having conversations with people, doing business deals. Me and Angela Stanton, we probably going to live stream on a Wednesday night after the debate. We preparing. We looking at upcoming business deals. I'm talking to offshore developers. Yesterday, I put in a hot 12 hours just in the studio, and then I did some more at the crib. Went back to the apartment, washed some clothes, set some stuff up, put some stuff in a position, made sure that I shaved, made sure that I prepared myself, got my clothes ready for the gym in the morning and stuff like that. Started my fast because I'm going to do this with you. And so every single year before New Year's, we recalibrate, we dedicate ourselves, and we start to prepare, and we're going to go into the new year running. So when everybody else is getting ready for it, we already running through it. And so we need clarity. And this is when you have to come into monk mode. Listen, I understand that some of us have some obligations that we already got scheduled. Me too. Got to go out of town in order to go to my brother's birthday. Got to take care of some business. Got to do some live shows and some stuff that I already got on the calendar. But outside of that, cut off everything. And if you worried about whether or not your girl or your guy is still going to be with you after you come out of this thing that's going to be best for you, and they not, then they wasn't for you in the first place. If they can't give you 90 days, and monk mode is a 90-day thing that we do. If they can't give you 90 days to become full, to become whole, to become the best person that you can be, so you can be a good person for them, and I'm not telling you to completely absolve yourself of your responsibilities. Take care of your kids. Do the things that you're supposed to do. But if they can't give you 90 days to fix yourself or to recalibrate or to refine yourself or to get back, because some of us is not even broken. Some of us is not even in a bad space. We just need to refine some things. We may need to give up a couple things. We may have fallen away from some stuff that we would normally do because we've gotten so caught up in the world or so caught up in what was going on in life and stuff that don't even really matter. Recalibrate. Recalibrate. Clean out your system. Go through a cleanse. And when I say a cleanse, I'm talking about food-wise. I'm talking about your friends. You may have to go on social media and purge. You may have subscribed to a bunch of garbage that you don't need to be a part of no more. You may need to go down your Instagram list, your TikTok, and unsubscribe from some stuff. You may need to let some people go. You may need to, go on a little sabbatical. You may need to pick up your Bible, start reading again, start reading some financial books. Go through your budget and start cutting out all of the fast food eating and all of the stuff that don't matter. Clean up. It's time to go into monk mode. I know that everybody else is going to be partying for Thanksgiving and celebrating. That's the time that we deep dive. We start to go down. And it's going to get difficult because it's always going to, look, I know that it's going to be some people that jump into this and they're going to be like, yeah, let's get started. 2 weeks from now, if it's 100 of us that do it, if it's 1,000 of us that do it, cut off 50% of them. 50% of y'all ain't going to make it in the first 2 weeks. 50% of y'all ain't going to make it in the first 2 weeks. You're going to fail. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to resort back to hanging out with the people that's just in the middle because you're going to need some comfort. You're going to want that comfort food. You're going to need that sugar rush. You're going to want to feel like you're a part of something. You're not going to want to feel like an outcast amongst people that are elite. We are an elite squad. We are chasers. We are bag chasers. We really bag catchers, but I say bag chasers because it ring a little bit differently. We are part of an elite group of people that are special. We are designated to do something that the rest of the world can't do. They're not capable. They don't have the discipline. They weak. When they fall, they just lay there. They don't get back up. And so it's going to be half of y'all that fall off within the first 2 weeks. Another 25% is going to fall off within the first month. But it's some of us that's meant to be rich. Some of us are meant to be special. Some of us are meant to live in good health till we 90 years old. Some of us don't need trees in order to get clarity to create greatness. Some of us ain't gonna need a pill in order to get it up. Some of us don't need porn in order to get turned on. Some of us don't need people to give us motivation in order for us to be the best versions of ourselves. At some point, you want to become the motivation for somebody else. Some of us ain't gonna need debt in order to maintain a lifestyle. We're gonna be debt free. And so help your people around you to understand that if you want to love on me and you want the best for me, then you're going to support me in my journey over these next 90 days in order to have clarity. And it don't mean that you got to have a bad attitude. You ain't got to not talk to people, but just understand that I can't eat the way you going to eat over the next 90 days. I can't hang out in the places that you want to hang out over the next 90 days. I'm not spending no more money unless it's on an investment or saving or stacking or paying off debt over this next 90 days. I'm not participating and going out for Black Friday and going drinking the day after Thanksgiving and spending a whole bunch of money on the holiday on a bunch of stuff just to please people, and they're not even going to care about it next year. You don't even remember what you bought people for Christmas, and you went into debt to do it. It took you 8 months to get out of debt from what you spent in Christmas, and don't nobody even care. We're not doing that no more this year. We're not doing that no more this year. We're going to 100% get focused. We're going to get clear. We not going to need or depend on any of this stuff that's keeping us on the drip, meaning that all of these pills that you taking and all of this stuff that you taking or whatever in order to cope or, this medicine, it's not curing you. You just treating the symptoms. You got to get down. You got to get into the core of what's wrong with you. And I understand that everybody has something and everybody is dealing with something. So this is what I want you to do before we get started with the show. Go through and write down. You ain't got to show it to nobody. You ain't got to tell us. This is just for you. Go through and write down over the next 60 days and then everything that you want to accomplish and you want to set your sights on and focus on over the next 90 days. Get rid of 30, clarity on 60, accomplishments is on 90. That's why we do it. The 30 days is to create the habit and to break the curses. That's breaking the generational curses. The 60 days is the sustainability. That's when you start to get clarity and start to focus and start to move things around. The 90 is when you start to capitalize, and that's when you take off. That's what we focus on. By the time everybody else figure it out, you're going to be 30 pounds down, 60 pounds down. Clarity. Breaking generational curses. No more needing that medicine. You don't have to have healthcare coverage just so you can start to treat the symptoms. You got healthcare coverage just in case anything happens. That's what healthcare is supposed to be for. We getting clarity. We leaving all of that nonsense, all of the devil's work, all of them demons that's on your back. We leaving all of that behind. We kicking it. It's going to be hard. Anything that's worth having is going to be hard. It ain't supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody could have it. That's why they say everybody can't be a millionaire. Everybody can't be a billionaire. You're right. It's not for you. It's for me. And so, ladies, gentlemen, everybody that is watching this right now, you need clarity. There are some things in your life that we have to solve for, and we want the best of it. So that's monk mode. That's what we doing. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready to get this money? We got to focus on building our businesses. We got to focus on being. What's the point of being a great father if you're not going to be here for your kids because you're going to die from a disease that you could have prevented? Monk mode. We ain't spending no money. We not doing nothing outside of what we have to do, and we focusing every single thing on what we got to do for ourselves. And trust me, big dog, if she not there after 90 days, she'll regret not being with you, but she was never supposed to be for you in the first place. Let me say it again. If she not there after 90 days, if she can't sustain not getting no D after 90 for 90 days, then she wasn't for you in the first place. She was going to get it from somewhere else anyway. Clarity. Sometimes this 90 days is also to clear out the people that you're not even supposed to be around too. Huh? What happens when you stop taking everybody out? What happens when you stop spending money? What happens when you stop smoking with everybody? They're going to look at you as a leper? They not for you. You outgrew them. It's time to go in a different direction. Let's get to it, y'all. Let's get this money. Let's get this money. Let me go ahead and read a couple of these cash apps and super chats, and we're going to keep it popping. Shout out to my girl, Molly. Love my girl, Molly. Hopefully she on the show tonight. That's my homie. Let me also get to it. Say Max is in the building. Says, I recently emailed you spelling myself a failure. I also heard your message on the Anton Daniels channel this morning and immediately doubted myself. You're doing it with me, so I'd rather try and fail. You ain't gonna fail. What makes you think you're gonna fail? We don't even look at it from a dire perspective. We look at it from an opportunistic perspective. You ain't gonna fail. What, you think you've been watching me all of this time just so you can fail? I don't create failures. Everything that you've been through up till now don't matter. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is here, right now. And the thing about it, look, let me tell you something, Say. You ain't even got to do it for 90 days. I want you to be great today. And then tomorrow, I want you to be great tomorrow. Forget tomorrow. Today, focus on being great today. All you got to do is focus on being great today. We'll focus on tomorrow. I kick it with you tomorrow. Just be great today. Promise me you're going to be great today. That's all I want you to do. Shout out to you. Albino says, once I finish this contract in the spring, I'd like to invest in your development of the 1940s to 1970s size rancher homes. Great idea. I like to participate. Want info. Shout out to you, Albino. I appreciate you. D Pounds in the building. Says, proud bag chaser here. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, we got Stock Club today at 11:30 Eastern. Stock Club today is 11:30 Eastern, maybe 11:45, 11:30 Eastern. So if you're not a part of the bag chasers, if you're not tuned into that live stream, you need to do so. Join me and sing my wife, Michaela. Happy birthday. We've been on our grind since the first coaching call in May. Look forward to the next. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michaela. Is it Michaela? Michaela. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Shout out to Michaela in the building. We appreciate you. Everything said about Monk Mode is big truth. Shout out to you, Michael Morris. I appreciate you. Delta Fox says, the sun isn't even up here and I'm already dressed and going out for a 5-mile run. Get after it. Get after it. Albino Nation says, but you're right, eating clean, up to 2 a.m. run or exercise. Go to work at 4:30 a.m. till 4:30 a.m. See my girl once a day. a week, 1 day a week, saving money, have energy, in bed by 6 or 7, keeping it simple. Get to it. Sunshine, shout out to Sunshine. Says, good morning, AD. Can I get a sweet 16 birthday? Shout out to my daughter, Ashanti. Happy birthday, Ashanti. Shout out to you from your mama, Sunshine. Ashanti, we love you, baby. Yeah, shout out to you. And shout out to the 16-year-olds. I got a 16-year-old myself. Latrell says, worked 92 hours last week, doing another 90 this week. Adults devise a plan and follow what children do what feels good. Talk to them. Let's get it. Melvin Johnson says, out getting my 5 miles in now after working a third shift fitness bag chasing monk mode sounds fired. Jabari House is in the building, says, thank you, Anton, for keep bringing in the gyms. About to celebrate my 40th on Saturday, and I'm excited for the next chapter. Shout out to everybody whose birthday is this early September. September birthdays in the building. Let's get started with the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning your notifications, and make sure that y'all send this to y'all family and friends. Join the Patreon and Showing the Bag Chasers this afternoon for Stock Club today, Stock Club after the show, all right? Love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all to everybody that support the platform. Let's go ahead and get into the show. First things first, Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to each individual subject, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on out in these streets. But first things first, gunfire erupts at an Oakland sideshow, and neighbors is absolutely fed up. Check it out.
Gunfire erupting in an East Oakland neighborhood amid an hour-long sideshow last night, and neighbors say police were nowhere to be found. Those same residents say it's not the first time that this has happened, and they are worried about their safety. KTVU's Zach Sauce live in the city after visiting that neighborhood. Zach.
Yeah, and the fear, they say, is that the next time that gunfire could potentially go into someone's home. As you mentioned, they said they called police. No one showed. There was also fireworks, lasers, a car that ran into a utility pole. All of this, understandably, has neighbors feeling uneasy.
I just heard gunshots coming from all directions, people trying to hide.
Shots echoing through this East Oakland neighborhood early Saturday following what neighbors described as an hour-long sideshow.
Like a whole hour. No police. I didn't hear no sirens at all. Some people were on top of that house's roof. There were fireworks included. There were blue lasers, green lasers.
The resident who asked for her face not to appear on camera, fed up and hardly alone. She, along with several other neighbors who, fearing retaliation, didn't want to be recorded, telling KTVU sideshows like these are fairly common at 98th and Empire, not far from the crime-plagued Hegenberger corridor.
It happens, if not weekly, monthly, but it's the same people, I think.
Worried that one day a stray bullet could find its way into her home.
They just fire up in the air, and you don't know where it's going to land.
The sideshow follows a series of recent town halls across Oakland, attended by Mayor Sheng Tao and Police Chief Floyd Mitchell, both pledging to better target crimes like these in the city through the use of new technology, including drones and cameras, and with the help of the CHP.
We know that we don't have enough police officers. We can't afford them. But that doesn't mean that we use that as an excuse or a reason not to ensure that our people feel safe.
We're working hard to try to...
Question, just a quick question. If you know and you're announcing and you don't have the money, budget, resources, support for police officers, which I don't feel bad for Oakland that don't have enough police officers because A, y'all wanted to defund the police, and B, this is what y'all voted for. And so y'all wanted y'all neighborhoods to look like y'all wanted to self-police, right? And you're announcing it. What makes you think that they don't know that you don't have enough police officers also? Let me say that again for the people in the back. Because if you know and the people know, because usually it's not just the neighborhood that don't know, that knows that you don't have enough police officers. The criminals have already done their research to understand that Oakland is a free-for-all. Oakland has now become the free-for-all place for all criminals to do anything you want to do. Guns, butter, drugs running up on your roof, tearing up hitting your side streets, poles, burnouts, everything. They don't care. And so now y'all just having community meetings for the sake of having community meetings because y'all have given y'all whole city over to the criminals.
This activity, we have a sideshow detail that goes every Friday and Saturday night.
The chief says part of that effort includes looking at ways to redesign intersections. Those who live here say they're still waiting, and in the meantime, want to know where the police are.
I've been here my whole life, and it has changed. It's changed so much, and it's frustrating because it seems like they don't care.
It's over. It's over. The reset is coming. The reset is coming. You wanted this. This is what your neighborhoods have become. Welcome to Oakland. Y'all don't even have no police officers. And you know what the worst part about it is? The way that their budget is set up to where they only got a short windfall from selling the Oakland A's Coliseum. And so next year it's going to be even worse because they don't have any budget to continue to fund the police officers. This is what defund the police looks like. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, a group in Chicago loots a truck after it goes under an underpass. It rips off the top. It was a UPS truck. And so a group of 12 to 15 people completely looted this truck.
Even more shocking, police say up to 15 people took part in stealing those packages. It happened in broad daylight, just steps from the CTA Pink Line station. As a UPS tractor trailer was traveling north on Kedzie, just past Cermak Road, a slight miscalculation was only the first in a series of bizarre events that unfolded next. Around 10:45 a.m., Chicago police say the semi struck a viaduct. Skyfox captured stunning video of its top peeled off like a tin can. The truck was moved from underneath the viaduct and it was parked near the Pink Line's Kedzie stop. What happened next is jaw-dropping. Police say at least a dozen, but possibly up to 15 offenders helped themselves and began stealing random packages. Citizen app video shows the mound of boxes spilling from the trailer. In a statement, a spokeswoman with UPS said they are aware of the incident involving their driver, adding in part, "We are cooperating with the responding authorities in their investigation and respectfully defer questions about this incident to them."
If y'all have never seen what some of these trailers look like when they stack these boxes, they're not on nice pallets. Like when you get grocery loads or you get these UPS boxes and stuff like that, that junk just be thrown and piled in there, and then they start to create this line. Well, I know they do in retail and in grocery. They have these little stacks and these lines where it basically goes out and it scans all of the boxes or whatever, so on and so forth. A lot of the grocery trucks, they're not even in boxes. It's just the groceries themselves are stacked in the boxes. They're stacked inside of these trailers, and they just come out and they sort them as they get out. And so then they start to line them up on pallets, and that's how the people overnight, they start to stack it up and stuff like that, and they fill them up. How do I know? Because I'm familiar with this type of stuff. I've been around. I've seen a lot of things. So that's what's happening in Chicago. And then also today, Apple has a new announcement where they're going to be releasing a new iPhone 16 amongst a bunch of other stuff, and this is what you can expect.
The iPhone 16, what's different? That's the question every year. What's actually going to make me upgrade this time around?
Well, if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, I don't necessarily think you're going to upgrade this year unless you get a pretty good deal or you're on an upgrade path, right? The changes here are going to be on the more incremental side. They're going to focus on Apple Intelligence, which, of course, the 15 Pro and Pro Max will already support. And then there's also going to be some major upgrades on the camera. The ultra-wide lens is going to move to a 48 megapixel to match the standard lens. But if you're coming from an older phone, if you're coming from a 14 or earlier, getting Apple Intelligence, getting those new cameras, getting the titanium, those are going to be some nice upgrades. There's going to be some new colors as well. The most significant feature is going to be a new camera button on the right side of the phone, below the power button, that you'll be able to use to take pictures and videos. It's going to be capacitive, so you can swipe on it to zoom in and out, move between still and video. So that's going to be a nice upgrade there. So it's really all about AI and the camera. The bigger changes, of course, will come to the Apple Watch and the AirPods.
Bless you, Mark. Just talk us about the AirPods and the watch. What do we anticipate there? How big a change?
So this is going to actually be the 10-year anniversary to the date of the original Apple Watch introduction in 2014. And you're going to see a new Series 10 watch that's going to have displays that's a little bit bigger. You're going to see faster processors. You're going to see sleep apnea detection as a major new health feature. You're also going to see that sleep apnea detection come to the Apple Watch Ultra, though that will retain the same design that's been running since the introduction in 2022. AirPods, Apple's revamping the low end of the line, so you're going to see new entry-level and mid-tier AirPods, bringing noise cancellation down the line from the Pro models for the first time. You're going to see quite a boost there to Apple's wearables business between the new watches and the new AirPods, and I think that's going to be quite exciting for customers who have been waiting for a new version of the AirPods.
So Apple is scheduled to do their keynote today. The name of it is called Glow. All right. So most of the time nowadays, so many leaks come out to where you're able to really already know what's going to come out before it happens. So they're going to come out with the new iPhone 16, which embraces Apple Intelligence, which is artificial intelligence. They have new AirPods that's being redesigned on the low end. They have new Apple Watches that are going to be coming out, which I'm basically going to be upgrading everything because, you know, I want the latest and greatest equipment, especially with regard to what it is that I do. I use my phones to film. Every single day, I use my iPhones to film. That's what you see a lot of the vlogs on. Sometimes you see me actually live streaming on Monday nights and stuff like that with my iPhones, new business phones. I also use my Apple Watch to work out with, and I use my Apple Watch to sleep with to monitor my sleeping and stuff like that in order to use the data to leverage that to make sure that I'm getting the optimal amount out of my day and stuff like that. So I leverage all of the technology. I like to have the latest and the greatest as a result of it. I don't think that everybody needs it, depending on what your lifestyle is, but I'll be keeping y'all up to date on that. I'll be reporting on the keynote. I'll be following the keynote after we do Stock Club today, and then I'll also have a conversation today about what you can expect and then bring you back up to speed in Stock Club and how this is going to affect Apple long-term as well as its competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your Quick Hits. Did I do that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's your Quick Hits. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Sheena Sales, shout out to Sheena Sales. Thrifty Treasure says, 90 days, I'm in. God bless you. Shout out to my people. All right, I got more people in here. We're going to do this together. Demetrius Mullins says, peace, just joined the Bag Chaser. Shout out to the Chasers. You're going to be in Stock Club today, I'm assuming, after we do the live stream. All right, y'all. So we locked in. We got another hour and a half. We want to break down a lot of these different subjects. We got a lot to go through. We got to go through the California wildfires, including insurance companies pulling out of California. We got to go over the migrant bill that was killed because of, remember I was telling y'all that it was sitting on the desk of Gavin Newsom? We going over that. A racist judge in Oakland County. Migrant gangs in coming from Venezuela. We had people on the ground interviewing them. Not us, but there's people that were on the ground interviewing them. Shannon Sharpe scolds Ocho Cinco, and then the repossessions are up. We're going to get to it. With Janice says, will you still be live streaming the presidential debate tomorrow? I will. I absolutely will. But and that's one of the reasons that they moved the Apple Glow event over to today, because they was going to do it on Tuesday. But instead, since we got the presidential debate tomorrow, I'm going to be live streaming it on after hours. And then me and Angela Stanton, a lot of y'all may be familiar with Angela Stanton. Me and Angela Stanton is probably going to do a recap on Wednesday on the Anton Daniels channel. But I'll keep y'all up to date on that on the days that it happened. Absolutely, Janice, I am going to be live streaming the debate tomorrow. I wouldn't miss it for the world. All right? Let's go ahead and get started with the show. I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. California wildfires, especially in SoCal, is leading to more, right now it's expanded to more than 20,000 acres. This is one of the reasons and one of the downfalls of living in Southern California that a lot of people don't like to talk about.
Now at 5:30, amid scorching heat and low humidity, the line fire rapidly grows to over 17,000 acres in San Bernardino County. The fire started on Thursday and is being fueled by dry brush. Evacuations have been ordered in several communities and others are under warning.
Jennifer McGraw is live for us. She's got the latest now. Jen? Rick and Cord, the situation changing about every half hour. First it was windy, then it was smoky. Now the sun is out. It even rained ash on us. Now, just a couple moments ago, I spoke with residents. We're in the Mill Creek area, just east of where the fire began in the hillside community. And we were just told and heard tons of sirens racing just down the street, heading towards the fire that was coming down the mountainside towards the Mill Creek area. The last thing they want is for this fire to jump the 38 highway. Now take a look. Here's some video that we shot yesterday of some of the fierce flames on Highway 330 after the fire not only jumped the highway but was racing towards Running Springs. Yesterday, the day before, it was 7,000 acres, and then it jumped to 17,000 acres last night with still 0% containment. Additional evacuation warnings have also been issued. More than 35,000 homes and structures are being threatened. It's extremely smoky out here, and it's also causing the ground attack to be grounded. And while they have hundreds of crews out here, resources and equipment, that air attack absolutely helps. We spoke with neighbors here in the Mill Creek area, and they say obviously they're concerned and hope that firefighters can save their community, as well as we spoke with experts earlier today.
Yeah, so the thunderstorms come in and they start having downdrafts that can blow the fire in any different direction, where normally we can predict where the fire is going to go. But with the thunderstorms, you never know. If the lightning comes with no rain, it has the potential to light this brush that's ready to burn on fire and start a new fire, which we don't want.
Many communities are under mandatory evacuations, others under warnings. Those are obviously fluid. The warnings are popping up all over the place. Many people around these communities know better, though. They have the apps. They've been speaking with the sheriff's department. They are watching very closely because they're used to fires in their neighborhood, and they want to make sure that they get their stuff, they get out.
Yo, if I ever get to the point to where I'm used to fires in my neighborhood, that's a sign. That's kind of a sign for me to go ahead and exit left. I don't know. And again, a lot of times we always say, well, you know, it never rains in Southern California. Well, that's why y'all got forest fires. Y'all got line fires that's exploding now to more than 20,000 acres. And so, you know what's so funny? I was thinking to myself, like over the weekend, I was thinking, man, you know what? I need to go and live in some of these places. Like, I need to just go and pick a month. Like, pick a whole month and go and live in the communities that, you know, you guys are describing and stuff, and just rent an Airbnb for a month, live there for a month, maybe once a quarter, go and live in a different place every single month and see what happens. And so I was thinking about, hey, man, when am I going to go and live over in California for a little bit? I don't know. That might be last on the list. But let's get some more coverage of this. And then I also want to have a conversation about insurance companies and why they're pulling out of California in the first place.
NBC4 News starts with breaking news.
Right now on this special edition of the NBC4 News, severe weather in Southern California, dangerous heat, power outages, and a massive wildfire that has prompted evacuation warnings and is now threatening thousands of homes. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Vara.
And I'm Jonathan Gonzalez. We do have team coverage tonight on the impacts of this extreme weather. But first, we also have new video of what happened after thunderstorms and strong winds hit the Inland Empire. Look at this tree that fell right into a home in Paris. The line fire creating its own weather system, also contributing to this wild weather, burning uncontrolled along the edge of the San Bernardino National Forest.
So my Alexander Bowles said, Anton, you're not built for Cali. Cali what? Oh my God. This is not the show to prove how tough we are, but for some reason, I think that if the Kardashians and Drake and them can make it out in California, I can too. And let me also be clear. I don't plan on staying in the hood in California either. I plan on staying in some of the poshest locations and really be able to take care of myself. Do you have any grape upon? So you're right. For the parts that y'all talking about in Cali, I've survived Detroit. I'm not looking to go back to what it is that I came from, and I'm certainly not looking to go into the hood in California. So you can have them. I'm not like y'all, just like Kendrick Lamar said, I'm not like y'all. So, yeah, let's get back to this.
Forest, the fire has now exploded to more than 20,000 acres.
NBC4's Anastasia almost joins us live from Mentone with the very latest on containment efforts as they stand tonight. Anastasia.
Jonathan and Kathy, in just the last 24 hours, the line fire has rapidly grown an additional 13,000 acres, 3,000 acres in just the last few hours. I actually want to show you from where we're standing on Highway 38 in Mentone. We could not see any flames, and in just the last 45 minutes, we saw this, flames sparking up at the top of the hill there and really lighting up the mountains from behind. Now, it had originally died down with a little bit of that short rain that happened today.
So you just chilling there and you just start to see a line of fire just come up behind you. That's insane.
Slowing the spread of the fire, but then they closed Highway 38, which leads to Angeles Oaks and up to Big Bear, closing it to all traffic, where in just the last several hours, the county issued emergency evacuations for communities along this road in preparation for that fire to possibly grow up the mountain and spread east sometime tomorrow morning.
See, we're here, and the fire's, it's not even the constant peak yet.
Families who live in and around the San Bernardino National Forest are watching the line fire minute by minute, ready to leave at a moment's notice. Just keeping track until it's
First of all, shout out to the shout out to homegirl. She said, "I'm gonna go and get me a snow hare." She gonna get her a snow hare. They got them a little mixed baby. Got them a snow hare. Okay, I see you, baby. Look, I don't want to live nowhere where I got to buy a camper and be prepared minute by minute to be able to escape. And I think that people over in California, God bless y'all. I think y'all should stay where y'all at and embrace and fix whatever it is that y'all got going on. But I will say that you just got to have you got to be conditioned for certain places. Because for every benefit that there is always a downfall. Very few places don't have something wrong with it, right? You might have extreme heat, you might have wildfires, but you might have great weather in the wintertime, right? You may have homelessness and mudslides, but, you know, you got sandy beaches. Over in the Midwest, we have the largest body of fresh water and affordable prices, but then at the same time, you're going to have snow. And Miami, you're going to have the best winters outside of Hawaii, but then you're going to have high prices, chicks that's for the streets. You can't turn it off. It's unaffordable. And you got hurricanes. Over in New York, it's largely unaffordable. They have some of the worst winters. Y'all have the highest taxes, rats, you know, uncleanliness, and bad winters. In the middle of, you know, in the desert, it get very, very cold at night. It's beautiful. Most people are moving there in the middle of the cup. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be, it's a yin and a yang for everything. So you got to pick your poison.
Time for us to go, which it looks like it is. We did just get an order to leave, so we're packing up and leaving soon.
Desiree Armstrong and her family live in Mountain Home Village. We were there as county officials issued a mandatory evacuation order around 5:30 in the evening. One woman placed her 3 cats in crates in the car and told
Is that the cat ladies that J.D. Vance was talking about?
them they know the drill. Up the mountain in Angeles.
Adrian Monique says Phoenix has fantastic fall and winter. But yeah, y'all summers is like death. And y'all got a migrant crisis that's happening over in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? So it's always going to be a trade-off. Always going to be a trade-off, both socially and you know, as far as the actual geography of where it is that you live.
Oaks families remained under an evacuation watch Sunday evening, but Scott Swift says they know the drill too.
You know, loading pictures and important papers, getting the trailer ready, you know, putting the generators in the back of the truck just in case.
But Swift, like some others, say they'll only leave if they absolutely have to.
Nobody's come and told us to get out, so we're still here. But we're getting ready. We'll be hooked up, so when the time comes, we're gone.
Fire officials.
This is why insurance companies are evacuating, because they can't afford to continue to fund what is happening over in California.
Now we turn to a sign of the times and a growing fear for every California homeowner. People around the Bay and across the state are now being told their homeowner insurance policies will not be renewed. Insurance providers say those policies are in areas that are now considered too high risk because they're too densely populated. NBC Bay Area's Tom Jensen explains.
San Francisco is the second most densely populated city in the U.S., and some homeowners here learned this week because of that designation, their homeowner's policy will not be renewed. A woman who lost her Napa County home in the 2017 Tubbs fire told me by email State Farm dropped her policy last week, and she can't find another private insurer to step in. It means she'll likely have to buy the California Fair Plan. Subsidized by the state, it's expensive and only offers fire coverage. State Farm issued a written statement to NBC Bay Area earlier this week explaining its decision to no longer write new policies for new California homes and to end coverage for about 50,000 existing California customers. It reads, this decision was not made lightly and only after careful analysis of State Farm General's financial health, which continues to be impacted by inflation, catastrophe exposure, reinsurance costs, and the limitations of working within decades-old insurance regulations.
Y'all got to understand that if it's not profitable for the company, then they are not going to continue to stay in there. And that's largely also how you can determine whether or not that market is a market for you. I know people that are getting out of the real estate in California, both commercial and residential altogether. It's homeowners that can't wait to sell their properties. If your property appreciates above a certain amount, then you also going to have a certain tax that say that you're too rich and you got to pay extra taxes. The taxes is bad altogether. California can't keep subsidizing everything, and they've subsidized the homes in order to maintain stability within the market. And at the same time, they're operating at a budget deficit of close to $75 billion a year. So California is in shambles right now. I think that if you want to go and you want to visit, I think it's a great place to visit depending on where you go. The wildfires and all of the disasters and the catastrophes and them continuing to raise taxes and the bad leadership and the no police. It's just bad. It's just bad over in California. So go over there on your own risk. And I think that you got to be super duper rich in order to move there. But ladies and gentlemen, line fires, California, and bad insurance rates over there. So it's not all that great either over in California. Okay. Let me read a few of the super chats and then we're going to move over. Cali is thriving, at least where I'm at. No, I don't believe that, Antonio. Y'all as a community are not thriving. High Tolerance says, good morning, AD. The wellness PSA was on time. Spoke with his sister at church yesterday and said her husband is starting dialysis and barely into his 40s. By the way, Teslin Figueroa needs all of the smoke. What'd she do? What did Teslin do? I need to write that down and do a little bit of research. Send me an email of what Teslin Figueroa did. Dialysis, barely into his 40s. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, we don't want to live like that. That's for the streets. David Williams says, had a chance to see Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, and Marvin Sapp, and be more on Saturday. They're coming to Detroit. It was definitely a great show, definitely worth it. But we in monk mode, though, right now. We ain't doing none of that. We in monk mode right now. P. Shank says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels and the Millionaire Morning Show, the best morning show. Shout out to my girl, P. Shank. Turtle Island is in the building, says, I will gladly live in the middle of the Peach State because I get a variety of weather, less natural disasters, and southern hospitality. Shout out to Turtles Island. I appreciate you also. Let's go ahead and pivot for a second and talk about Gavin Newsom. So the reason why this is important for us to talk about Gavin Newsom and his controversial or the California controversial migrant bill is that I'm trying to understand Gavin. I'm truly trying to understand Gavin. I've largely designated Gavin over the last 3 years to be the worst governor in the United States of America. But lately he's making a pivot. And some people have said that he's preparing himself to run for president in 2028. Maybe. Because he started to all of a sudden get tough on cities as far as cleaning up homelessness. And although we know that Oakland is in shambles, he's saying that he's going to lend some California State Patrol troopers over to help police them. And then he started to all of a sudden become a little bit more conservative when it comes to these rights and stuff. And I fully expected, and I told y'all I was going to stay on top of this, I fully expected for Gavin Newsom to sign this controversial migrant bill as far as allowing for migrants to get funding to be able to buy houses up to $150,000. It was on his desk. All of the California legislators voted for it, and I expected for him to fund it. But before we go over to California, let's go over to Chicago really quickly so I can give you guys a little bit of insight on how the people feel, because we've been covering the migrant crisis for the last 2 years, how the people feel and what they feel towards their leadership over in Chicago.
Frustration hit a peak at a city council meeting as aldermen and residents keep clashing over how taxpayer money should be spent on migrants. The council's Immigration and Housing Joint Committee couldn't vote or even start the meeting because some members didn't show up. But people still got to speak during public comment, and Alderman Byron Lopez announced a November referendum where voters can decide if the city should tax millionaires 3% to help migrants.
Do y'all hear this? I know it's a war on people that worked their butt off, built their companies, made the sacrifice, got their net worth up. Chicago is trying to tax people, millionaires in particular, to help fund the migrant crisis. What is wrong with Chicago? What is wrong with leaders? What makes you think that anybody, I don't care who it is, I don't care what your net worth is, how can you tax people, anybody? Because it's not even going to come to us, it's going to come to y'all. I don't live in Chicago, so it don't really matter. Why would you create a bill to say that millionaires have to fund the displacement of the middle class over in Chicago and make sure that they support the migrant crisis? Why would they do that? Listen to what he just said.
A comment, and Alderman Byron Lopez announced a November referendum where voters can decide if the city should tax millionaires 3% to help migrants.
What is wrong with Chicago? What is wrong with people in general? Jesus Christ, this is so dumb. I can't even believe that I live in the United States of America and this is happening.
We have 120,000 millionaires who live in the city of Chicago who can pay the fair share, and there are solutions so that we can do both.
What do you mean pay their fair share? Why do millionaires that live in Chicago have to pay their fair share to fund the migrant crisis? They didn't ask for this. What are y'all talking about? And he's passionate about this. They're arguing, these aldermen that make $150,000 a year, that give themselves raises on the backs of taxpayers, are arguing that millionaires need to be paying their fair share because they got that stuff from Biden. They got it from Kamala Harris. And what is my fair share? I don't think that they asked to fund the migrant crisis in the first place. Man, if I was a millionaire, I would be out of there so fast. You're not going to overtax me. Get out of here, bro.
For new neighbors as well as the current neighbors.
Are y'all lying to us? Because, see, we know that the budget stated that you guys spent $400 million on the migrants who are illegal immigrants last year. The city is currently in a $235 million deficit.
And projected to be $982 million in 2025.
Which means that you guys overspent the budget to pay for people who have not paid any taxes.
Tiege Lopez also announced the Colombian president is coming to Chicago on the 21st.
I think that this is so dumb. I think that this is the dumbest thing ever. This got to be the dumbest legislation that I've ever heard of in my entire life. If y'all actually agree with this and y'all rock with this, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. If you agree with supporting the migrant crisis by continuing to levy additional taxes on people to pay their fair share, please put a 1 in the chat. I hope you're listening. Anyways, Gavin Newsom over in California, he decided to veto the bill that was created to continue to fund the migrant crisis by giving them housing. Take a look.
But first, here at 6 o'clock and new tonight, Governor Gavin Newsom has vetoed a controversial bill that would have helped undocumented immigrants purchase homes in California. Our Capitol correspondent Anton Daniels was with the governor this afternoon and has more on why he rejected the legislation.
Felt it was unnecessary.
Governor Gavin Newsom defending his decision to veto Assembly Bill 1840. It would have allowed undocumented Californians looking to buy their own home to apply for the state's first-time homeowners assistance program. Per the program, qualified applicants could receive as much as $150,000 in state-funded down payment assistance. Several Democratic lawmakers had hoped the governor would sign it.
This is a common-sense bill that allows individuals, many of whom were essential workers during the COVID.
Are these people dumb? Are y'all dumb or are you stupid? California is in a budget deficit, tens of billions of dollars, trending towards $100 billion. You have unprecedented homelessness. People are exiting the state at a rapid pace, and you're telling the people that's still there that they have to pay up to $150,000 per migrant for them to be able to buy a house? And they always say state funded. No, state taxpayers funded. And then you got these legislators, and y'all vote them into office, and they advocate for it. Every single person that voted for this in California need to be fired. Every single legislator that participated in crafting this legislation and sent it to Gavin Newsom's desk, they need to be removed. If y'all not over there in California and y'all not taking note of this, and y'all not gonna meet these people and hold them accountable for this, then what hope do you have? What hope do you have? Don't lean to the federal government and the rest of us to help save you from yourself when you find yourself in a difficult space or in a difficult situation.
Crisis to be able to get in line and hopefully buy their first home.
But in this veto message, Newsom expressed fiscal concerns with the bill, noting the legislature had not appropriated any money for it amid the state's challenging budget situation.
It was expanding eligibility to a program that had no money. Seemed rather curious to me. So felt it was unnecessary, completely consistent with prior vetoes along the similar lines.
Republicans weighing in.
It is bad public policy. So I was excited and pleased that the governor vetoed this bill.
On the issue of reparations for descendants of enslaved black Americans, it's been less than 1 week since Assembly members with the California Legislative Black Caucus took heat for refusing to take up a vote on 2 reparations-related bills. The first bill would have created the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency in charge of overseeing the reparations process in the state. The second bill would have created a reparations-related fund. At this press conference, Newsom denied rumors he threatened to veto the 2 bills if they were to be taken up for a vote and reach his desk. He says the Black Caucus's decision not to take up the bills had nothing to do with him.
I didn't talk directly to anyone about those 2 bills. I had great respect and admiration for the leadership of the Black Caucus and members of the Black Caucus.
The reason Newsom called this press conference in the first place was to announce emergency regulations on hemp products that contain THC. That's the psychoactive compound in cannabis that can make you high. Newsom says he's especially concerned several products like THC-infused gummies and this THC root beer bottle are too easily accessible for children at places like retail and grocery stores. And that's why Newsom's new regulations say hemp products for consumption must have no detectable THC.
Forget all of this. Let me ask y'all a question. Wasn't it a mayor or somebody in California? Let me look this up. It was somebody in California that said that they quit. Mayor quit. Because he called it evil or something like that. It was like some kind of mayor, some Citrus Heights. Was it Citrus Heights? Let me see if I can pull that up. It was a mayor over in California that resigned that said that politics is dirty. Listen, I don't believe that Gavin Newsom wants no reparations bill. He just playing dirty. He playing politics.
A shakeup in Citrus Heights. The city is without a mayor starting this weekend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hunter Sowards.
And I'm Marley Ginter. In a surprise move, the mayor said he is resigning effective Saturday and said he is moving immediately to Kentucky, calling California.
Hey, dog did a stint like he was in prison over in California politics and said, listen, man, I'm getting up out of here. Not only am I resigning, I'm moving to Kentucky. Yo, that's crazy.
California's politics evil.
In tonight's Politics at Large, Steve is live in Citrus Heights with Steve, why the mayor says he couldn't wait to leave until the end of his term.
Yeah, live in this neighborhood in Citrus Heights, the mayor moving right now. In fact, there is his moving truck. He is busy loading up his home as we speak, and he is planning on leaving the state. Now, this is a surprise and new twist. He had already announced that he would be leaving California because he says California's politics are evil. The mayor and his moving van. Is this a statement move? Are you making a statement?
Absolutely, yeah.
Citrus Heights Mayor Brett Daniels dropped the sudden exit to his city this week, moving up his move-out date to right now. He had previously announced he'd wait until the end of his term to leave the state.
Hey, dog ain't even hardly cutting the bushes no more. He did the minimum responsible. He got the trees growing up on the side of the house. The bushes is all messed up. He did the grass, but the rest of that house, he was like, man, I ain't doing nothing else to this house.
Financially, it was going to be kind of crushing and whatnot, and so out of a bigger concern for my wife and daughter, we made the decision to go ahead and finish up now.
The mayor says he's leaving California because of what he calls the evil state legislature.
I feel that evilness has permeated the state legislature.
There's a lot of words you can use. You could use bad, I don't like it, not for me, but yeah. Evil is like a sinister side to it.
It is, and I feel that is the case.
Daniels says he opposes California state laws like the one banning school transgender notifications to parents. He says he and his family searched nationwide for a new home and settled on one in Corbin, Kentucky, where his 7-year-old daughter is now enrolled to go to school.
It's a nationally recognized school.
I'm concerned that there are some critical issues that we'll have to push back to.
Hey, bag chasers, see if y'all can find out this guy's information. I want to interview him. See if y'all can find this guy. Bag chasers, see if y'all can find this guy and his information. I'll reach out to him and I'll see if I can interview him. Because I'm interested in what his definition of evil is. They don't do enough of a deep dive on this. I want to know what his definition of evil is.
After the election,
Citrus Heights Councilmember Tim Schaefer is now scrambling to fill roles following the mayor's sudden departure. And business member Ray Riley is also upset by the abrupt exit.
Walking away from a job, walking away from an elected office because you dislike the people on the other side.
It's sad, but we become disgusted with California politics.
The Citrus Heights mayor moving on, calling out California politicians in favor of Kentucky's.
But I hope they hear about it enough.
Definitely an unusual situation. So the city of Citrus Heights will have no mayor, at least until mid-September, when the city council meets next to decide what to do with the position for the remainder of the year.
Wow. And
you got to be fed up. First of all, the likes is a little bit lower than we like for them to be. I agree, Turtle. Please get the likes up. It's free. And we do this every single Monday through Friday, and we never miss for y'all. But you got to be some level of fed up. You have to be had it up to here. And he think about what he said. He could have said anything. He could have said bad. He could have said not conducive. He could have said is cantankerous. He could have used any description and any synonym. He could have looked up any synonym in order to describe California legislature. And he said, they're evil. They're evil. So evil to where he was willing to pack up, quit his job, and move all the way over to the other side of the United States of America to Kentucky. That's pretty bad. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. I appreciate it. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to go over to the next part of the show. Shout out to Turtle. Turtle says, B. Jordan backdooring his skin folk. Oh, my God. Shout out to Turtle. That's the start of socialism in Chicago. Tax Smith says, elites concentrate on stupid social policies like this because they look virtuous while being healthy, while being wealthy enough not to deal with the consequences. Silent Sniper says, What I thought the U.S. citizens' fair share was taken out in taxes, anything taken after taxes is no longer a fair share. I'm sick of this migrant situation. I agree. Mo, I think that taxes is just a finesse. We should have a flat 10% rate and force the government on all levels to learn how to manage within that rate. Liberal white women support anything destructive. Turtle says tax the rich is technically economically discriminatory and, in my opinion, a violation of human rights to commence. The left is so backwards in reality. Wealth Building Journey says, Tom called it, leave Cali and move to the Midwest. I told y'all. Pookie's friend Ray Ray say man's moved because of the evil left. And he was in it. Will Livingston says California isn't a slave state, but since the government is handing out taxpayers' money to Ukraine and illegals, black people go get your reparations. Tax Smith says he saw behind the veil and said, oh no, they evil. For real. Let me look at this. Let me make sure that I acknowledge the people. Okay, I'm gonna reach out to Brett. I got you. Thank you, Yakar. I appreciate you. And then let me acknowledge the Cash App. Michael Russell says, Monk Mode, a.k.a. going into the shadows. Let's go. Let's get it. Thank you to everybody that support the platform. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. Let's pivot for a second. The racist judge. Now, I knew that this was going to hit my desk, and this is a hot topic because everybody wants to know, especially from the people that are not blackity black. So those of us that don't look at people based off of the color of their skin, but the content of their character, of course they were going to send this to me and ask me to react to it. So, Anton dodges no smoke. I am not necessarily familiar with it, but I did see the article, and then I seen it a bunch of times inside of my email. So I said, okay, well, let's talk about the judge that was exposed via audio recordings of being racist. She says she's a new racist. I don't even know what a new racist is, but let's find out. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
We begin tonight with a judge who makes life-altering decisions for families and those with disabilities, now accused of making racist comments and using shocking, derogatory language. Thank you for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Mike Duffy. 7 investigator Heather Catallo joins us now with more about why an Oakland County probate judge has been removed from her docket. Heather?
Mike, a high-ranking probate court official says he's been recording Judge Kathleen Ryan's statements for years. Even though probate court administrator Edward Hutton says he's been harassed by Judge Ryan, he says he does not want this to be about him. Hutton says he's coming forward now because he wants to protect the people who have to face Judge Ryan in the courtroom.
The Honorable Kathleen A. Ryan presiding.
Good morning. You may be seated.
After more than 13 years on the bench, Oakland County Chief Probate Pro Tem Judge Kathleen Ryan is out of her courtroom. Chief Probate Judge Linda Hallmark removed Judge Ryan from her docket last week.
If anybody has never been to 1200 Telegraph, that's 1200 Telegraph. You don't really want to go to 1200 Telegraph. The only time you want to go to 1200 Telegraph is if you're doing something like business licenses, or you got to take care of some business. They got a whole park over there. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole park. It's a jail, it's the courts. It's a bunch of stuff to deal with over there at 1200 Telegraph. You don't want to go into that floor. I think it's like the second or third floor or something like that. You don't want to go to that floor. That's the floor that you could potentially be facing some jail time if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Now, there's plenty of people over there that threaten me that wind up having to do some jail time at 1200 Telegraph. All right? They don't mess around. They don't play no games. The sheriff be up in there, and they be ready to put the metal handcuffs on you if you don't have that good lawyer. You got that slip-on, the lawyer with them slip-ons. All right? You want to avoid at all costs. Try to avoid going to 1200 Telegraph. All right?
Announcing that a complaint about internal allegations of unprofessional conduct was sent to the Judicial Tenure Commission. Judge Ryan was arrested in 2021 for domestic violence, but those charges were later dismissed. And now she's back in the headlines.
How do you get arrested for domestic? You beating up on your husband?
Well, if you're black from any other country, you're doing way better. If you're an American black person, then you're a lazy piece of.
The 7 investigators have obtained the recordings that county officials say prompted Judge Ryan's removal.
Oh, he's just I have no use for him.
She's made it
a living hell in the past 6 years. I mean, it's been terrible. It's cost me relationships.
Okay, so let me make sense of this. I'm gonna replay what it is, and then we gonna go into this guy, because this guy got a vendetta. So what he did was, I guess apparently the judge has made it difficult for him to be able to exist. So he got pissed, and he said, all right, look, I'm gonna be recording everything you do and everything you say, and we're gonna be dealing with this like gentlemen. All right, let me go back a little bit.
Headlines.
Well, if you're black from any other country, you're doing way better. If you're an American black person, then you're a lazy piece of
The 7.
Don't you know that only Anton from AntonDaniels.com can say stuff like that and get away with it? Look, if you are a snow bunny, a snow hare, any one of those things, especially if you hold a position of prominence, don't you know that you got the microphone on you? Don't you know that you are going to be under scrutiny like never before? Never before. You can't get away with it. We live in a technological era. Whatever it is that you knowing, that's over. Grandma and grandpa can't even talk like that no more, whether you white or you black. Some of the most racist people that I know is white people and black people that are above the age of 60 and above. Go into living rooms at Thanksgiving, you can't even talk like that no more. You know why? Because your woke nephew is going to be recording you and they're going to be mad and they're going to expose you. She should know better than this. And you talking on the phone? Stop.
Investigators have obtained the recordings that county officials say prompted Judge Ryan's removal.
Oh, he's just I have no use for him.
She's made it a living hell in the past 6 years. I mean, it's been terrible. It's cost me relationships. I think it's affected my health. Can't sleep.
Not a strong white man that's mad about this.
Attorney Edward Hutton is the Oakland County Probate Court Administrator. He's in charge of running everything that's not under the judge's purview inside one of the state's largest probate courts. Hutton alleges Judge Ryan has been calling him both during work and after hours for years. And Hutton says during those hours and hours of calls, Judge Ryan said highly inappropriate things.
Okay. All right. So we got the context now. He's a disgruntled employee that does not like the leadership of a woman that is above him. And so he said, listen, you working me too hard. You messing up my relationships. I'm doing too much. And so instead of him just quitting, he stuck it out and he decided to record the phone call. So he was the op. He the mole. When she thought that she was just talking to a regular employee, she was talking to a man that was mad at the fact that he had to work after hours at the request of a judge. And so he started recording all of her phone calls. That's why she got caught on the phone. All right. We got snitches in the house. Let's get it.
Why did you start?
All he had to do was give her some D. All he had to do was give her the D.
Recording the calls.
I just felt like it wasn't going to change. Nothing's manipulated in it. It's conversations that I was a part of, and I'm absolutely willing to testify to the authenticity of every single one of them.
I can honestly say that, okay, I'm not systemically racist, I'm a new racist. I never was, but now I am because you're shoving the down my throat and making allegations that you don't know about. You're telling me who I am and you've never met me. You. You.
Hutton says the judge also used homophobic slurs about other elected officials.
You know.
And that's not all.
A lot of times they were conversations.
Oh, snaps. He probably didn't like that. That probably is the thing that set him off right there. It wasn't the black part. The black part is what got her removed. He probably wasn't tripping after that. He was tripping off of when she said the F word. Now listen, the racist allegations, that's not even a big deal no more. But you say the F word, when he said ruin relationships, he didn't say I lost my girlfriend. And I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I have no whatever whatsoever. But listen, this is the thing. I'll share my thoughts afterwards. Let's get the rest of the story.
About sexual encounters that she's having with various individuals, I mean, in intimate detail.
Hutton says for years he felt like he had to play along, and he says for years he was afraid to speak up.
I didn't want to lose my job, and I didn't want to be in her crosshairs. It's such a situation. I don't have the power. I'm not elected. I could get fired tomorrow.
On May 24th, Hutton says he sent Chief Judge Linda Hallmark a notice of sexual harassment.
For 3 months, nothing happened.
That's why on August 22nd,
They want to give up that boy toy.
Hutton says he decided to send the recordings to the Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court, Oakland County Executive David Coulter, and other public officials. And he also contacted me.
I just want to make it right. I haven't filed a lawsuit.
Why ain't contact me? Contact me. Contact me. I want to talk about this.
I'm not looking for a payday. I want to keep my job and do it in peace. And I want the people in Oakland County that come to court to get a fair shake, to have their day in court, to have an unbiased trier of fact.
In that email, Hutton said Judge Ryan, quote, has vocalized her hate and contempt for various protected groups. Once the recordings were shared with those state and county officials, Judge Ryan was removed from her docket. In a statement, County Executive Coulter said, quote, there is absolutely no place for harassment of any kind or for racist or homophobic language by anyone at Oakland County, especially by someone the public must be confident will act fairly and impartially. The alleged conduct and abhorrent comments made by Judge Ryan merited her removal from the probate court docket pending further investigation.
Is Judge Ryan fit to be on the bench?
Absolutely not. Nobody with that much hate in their heart for certain people or certain groups of people, I don't believe that they could possibly make fair, unbiased decisions regarding them.
I did reach out to Judge Kathleen Ryan to talk to her about this. Her attorneys sent me this statement that says, quote, we respect the authority of the Michigan Supreme Court. However, we look forward to vindicating Judge Ryan in the appropriate forum. I also spoke to probate judge Daniel O'Brien. He says Judge Ryan's friends are supporting her and believe these statements are totally out of character for her.
All right, certainly a lot here, but what's next with the Judicial Tenure Commission?
Well, they cannot confirm or deny whether they are pursuing an investigation. There has been some reporting that suggested that the complaint against the judge involved an inappropriate personal relationship. Hutton says that is not true. He says there was no physical contact. This was strictly a sexual harassment complaint about her alleged comments that started all of this. But again, he says the bigger issue here is what the judge says about people in protected classes, and he's hoping that that is what the JTC will focus on. So,
all right, so here's my opinion on this whole situation. It doesn't seem as though she is in general racist. All right. When she said it, she probably said it in jest. And when she said, listen, I'm not systematically racist, but I might become a new racist based off of something else that I'm seeing, and we need to get the whole recordings, but we don't have that, so we just gonna make an assumption. That's number one. Number two, she made some jokes about a protected group. I largely believe that anybody can get this work, right? So the same way that we do these jokes against everybody, we do them against that. He also seemed to be having a little contempt based off of some stuff and some ongoing feuds that she had within him. With all of that being said, you have to be above and you have to have greater accountability and responsibility when you have a greater position. At no point should that ever be said. At no point should you ever exhibit those values. You can't be friends and you can't go back and forth and just be willy-nilly with the people that work with you or work under you. I think that she has to be removed. She 100% should be removed. Because I think that it's possibly said in jest does not remove her from being held accountable for her actions. And she very well could still be racist, which could affect her ability to do her job correctly. And she seems volatile regardless. Regardless of whether she's racist or not, regardless of whether or not she meant it or not, she seems volatile from that small sample size. and from the way in which she look at her coworkers, I don't think that this woman is fit to be a judge, and she need to go and find a different position. And she is not entitled to hold that position based off of her conduct. And he absolutely got her. He got her. He got her. She should have been more careful. She should have been more wise. She should have changed her behavior. She shouldn't have been having all of these conversations and going back and forth on the phone. And so with greater power comes greater responsibility. There's a lot of people that feel a lot of ways, but it can affect your performance. And more importantly, if it shows itself in any way, especially if you have the power to send people to jail, then you have to be removed. And so she very well could be racist. I'm not sure if she is because we haven't heard the full recordings, but they did the right thing in removing her from that position, because you can't have that position of power and be saying those type of things, especially to your coworkers and the people that surround you that can easily record you. And so it's probably not the first time that she says something wild. So yes, she should be removed. It's a complicated situation, but yes, she absolutely should be removed from the position. That's where I stand on that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of these super chats, and then we're going to go over to the second half of the show. Skinny Boy says, 13 super chat. Is the judge wrong, though? Yes, she's wrong. A Black Beauty says, Pillberry's dope. Shout out to Black Beauty for the super chat. I appreciate you. Stephen Butler says, remember, Anton, we more than a D. You should have just gave her that D. It should have been all right. Skilltree Gaming says, I grew up around the corner from Brett Daniels. He used to be the sheriff for Sac County. Where should I tell him to reach out to? Email me, antondaniels413@gmail.com, because I can't put my phone number on the internet. Ardilla, shout out to my dog Ardilla. Is it me or is Hutton giving off those alphabet? Nope, it's not you. It's not you. She needed to slap him with the fanny. Put that pistol grip pump on her. Morning, AD. So is him recording and saving the calls the equivalent of Lewinsky saving a dress? Yes. Except he never got no box, so it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't like people recording people, but neither here nor there. Oh, shoot. What did I do? All right, so we back. All right, y'all, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it. So up next, we got Shannon Sharpe scolding Chad Ocho Cinco. I'm going to continue to read super chats throughout the show. But the dangers of Venezuelan migrant gangs in America. We had a young man to go on the front lines that these news reporters and these investigative reporters should have done. Shout out to Nick Shirley. Make sure y'all hit Nick Shirley. Give him a like. When you go and check out his channel, make sure you let him know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. He was on the front lines to go and find out whether or not what the news was reporting and what people were talking about on TikTok was true or false. Let's get into it.
So I just want to clarify one question. Solo quiero clarificar una cuestión. Los trenes de Veraguas están aquí en Colorado.
Sí, hay bastante.
A bullet come through right here? Yeah. So right here where we're standing, is this where the Venezuelans came? Gangs such as Tren de Veraguas have allegedly started to overtake apartment complexes and extort the people. These gangs are extremely dangerous, and it's extremely frightening that they have arrived here, not just only in Denver, but they have also arrived in cities like New York City, Chicago, and other sanctuary states and cities in America. And now you may be wondering how we got to this point in the United States where Venezuelan gangs are actually committing crimes such as extorting and attacking police officers like they did in New York City. But we all know that over the past couple years, millions of migrants have entered the United States, and a large majority of those migrants are good people seeking for a better life. But we also have many people that have came here to cause harm, as a large group of those migrants coming across the border are military-age men that have came over here all by themselves. And now, with Venezuela being the safest it's ever been, many people believe that their gangs and their prisons were let out of Venezuela to come here, and now they are assembling themselves, as they have shown in videos on the internet, and as they have now started extorting specifically here in this area of Denver, Colorado. And today we are going to be going into these locations where the Venezuelan gangs have taken control, talking to the locals and the people that live inside these complexes. We're going to be trying our best to track down Tren de Veraguas and show you guys who these people are and how you guys can identify them here in Denver, Colorado, and across America. On the outside of this apartment complex, it literally says TDA, Tren de Veraguas. That is a Venezuelan gang that has taken over this city of Denver, specifically Aurora. We're gonna go in here and see if we can talk to anybody, as they have obviously shown that this is a spot where Tren de Veraguas has either came or is currently extorting to the people. Is it true that Tren de Veraguas has came here to this area of Aurora?
Sí. Por todo esto. Incluso allá arriba cerraron un apartamento.
Entonces no es una mentira que los bandilleros han venido.
No, no.
¿Y qué está haciendo los bandidos?
Pues lo que siempre, robar, meterse a todos los conjuntos, sacar cosas de los mercados, todo eso.
¿Y ha escuchado de otras personas aquí en este sector que han sido extornados?
No, por aquí no. Por aquí, por estos lados. Pero de aquel lado sí que hubo mucho eso.
So she's from Venezuela. And what kind of crimes do trained Araguas commit in Venezuela? So people here in America can understand how dangerous they really are.
Robar, matar, extorsionar, todo eso. Y quieren venir aquí a hacer lo mismo. No están en Venezuela para que hagan lo que hacen allá.
And so you believe they also want to do the same here as well?
Sí, ya se ve que lo hacen.
¿Y personas como usted y yo deberíamos estar temerosos de los miembros?
Sí, porque no les importa. A ellos no les importa hacerle daño a cualquier persona.
So you have people that are on the ground, living there, familiar with it, and they're telling you out of their mouth that, yes, man, listen, they came over here unvetted, just like Trump said that they was. They over here doing the exact same thing that they was doing over there in Venezuela. They seen an opportunity, a land of milk and honey over here in the United States of America. They caught bus rides up to Denver, and they're doing the same thing that they was doing there, except for they have less strict rules here than they were in Venezuela. And so now they invited their buddies and their gang, and they over there stealing. They going into the supermarkets, and they extorting people, and they stole a bunch of guns. And this is why they running wild over there in Aurora and in Denver and across the United States of America. So it's funny because you have independent journalists doing the things that real news agencies that are paid off by their sponsors and their advertisers to paint the picture one way, but to still try to cover it a little bit so that they can still have some credibility. So when you see real people on the ground talking to real people and they're telling you what's really happening, now you can really get a real understanding of what's happening.
Do you feel safe walking the streets here?
No.
Ahora en este sector está peor que era ahí en Venezuela?
Sí, está casi igual que Venezuela.
What she's saying is
She said it's the same as Venezuela over there. So they came over here to get a better life, which they shouldn't be here in the first place, but it's the same as over in Venezuela.
Just about as bad in Venezuela as it is here in Aurora, Colorado with the gang. And what would be your message to the political leaders of the United States knowing that trained Araguas have arrived and they are committing grievous crimes like murder and extorting to the people?
Okay, si pueden agarrarlos, mejor. Si los pueden deportar.
This apartment complex right here is one of the main apartment complexes that has been shut down due to rumors of Venezuelan gangs such as Tren de Araguas extorting the people inside of this building. This building is also in horrible shape. It is all boarded up. They have a fence around the entire perimeter, and they have even hired their own personal security to defend and protect this building. And ma'am, how come this building is closed down right now?
I'm not going to talk.
Tren de Araguas? What can you tell us about what happened here inside this apartment complex?
Oh, ese edificio lo cerraron por una balacera que hubo ahí.
Don't nobody speak English? So you say if Anton got to go over there and be an investigative reporter, I got to hire a translator to come with me.
Donde está abierta la ventanilla, se balearon 5 personas. No sé si hubieron muertos, pero más el motivo fue por eso, porque ya había mucho desmadre ahí. Los mismos ellos armaban el mismo desmadre y entre ellos mismos se peleaban y se agarraban allá adentro.
So inside this apartment complex, the migrants and the Venezuelans that were living in there had guns?
Sí, tenían armas porque de luego se agarraron adentro porque habían armas adentro del edificio.
And how is it possible for these Venezuelan migrants to get these guns?
Pues no sé, pero ahí se agarraron adentro con armas y los que se tiraron salieron para acá afuera.
So the bullets were leaving outside that building into your guys' neighborhood?
De adentro para afuera estaban saliendo. Nosotros estábamos dormidos, estábamos acostados con mi doña, como nosotros tenemos un bebé de 1 año. Nosotros tuvimos que tirarlos para el suelo porque fue allí en el último y se miraba que salían las chispas de las armas y los muchachos ya donde salieron tirados vinieron a salir a las calles, ya tirados los muchachos. Uno cayó allí por donde está la camioneta blanca. Se salieron pues ya tirados de adentro.
So everybody started leaving and running out of that apartment complex because there's literally a war going on with guns inside of the building.
Sí, salieron porque eso fue en la madrugada como a las 3 de la mañana.
¿Personas murieron adentro de eso?
No sé, pero sí hubieron tirados.
So people were shot. We don't know if they were killed, but they were shot and they left with wounds in their stomachs and in their body.
Sí, salieron disparados, baleados en sus pechos.
Usted salió un país de tercer mundo y ahora parece que los Estados Unidos está volviendo a ser más como un tercer mundo.
Sí, porque se está, en vez de estar bien uno, tiene que andar con un ojo adelante y otro atrás.
And before I went over to the apartment complex where the video went viral, the Venezuelan gangs walking around with a rifle, I wanted to call a friend who's a nightcrawler in New York City to explain just how dangerous these gangs are and how to identify them with their tattoos. Can you tell the people a little bit how these gangs identify themselves and what kind of tattoos they get and how people can know whether a person is a gang member or not?
Sure. So there's multiple different tattoos these gangs use. There is anything Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, the Michael Jordan sign, 23. Another telltale sign is
not Michael Jordan. They took the MJ logo. They took the Jumpman logo. Come on, man. Come on, fam. You telling me they took the Jumpman logo and the 23, and now that's they sign?
It's anything with trains, right? If they have a train anywhere, train tracks, trains, that's another telltale sign of trend agua. Another thing is crowns. They love the crowns. For some reason, they love the crowns. And then you got your AK-47s, which is another symbol of the TDA gangs. Again, these are very dangerous gangs, Nick. And I've seen it firsthand, and they're linked to murders and decapitations throughout New York City now.
So these gangs, the way you can tell if they're a gang member, if they got a train tattoo, they got a crown tattoo, anything Michael Jordan and 23 related.
Yeah, Chicago Bulls, 23, hoops. Look, and again, be careful. There's a lot of robberies on the streets. Just give them your stuff and walk away. It's not worth it. These guys are dangerous. They will slice you up. I've personally seen them slice people up. I've seen them beat people senseless. They're dangerous. And I'm a born New Yorker. I grew up in the mob days, right? And even the mob didn't do what these guys are doing.
Welcome to the United States of America, where the trend and the Gazas is taking over in Denver, Colorado, and they taking over in New York. And you know what's so funny? They making sure that they suppress the level of coverage that's happening. This guy said that they doing decapitations, that they're taking over, they robbing people, they running up on people, they extorting. They saying that they doing more than that. The mob was nicer than what these guys are doing, but they taking over. In groups. Now women can't walk down the street. You can't get a regular apartment. None of that. They running these people out of their own cribs. You know what I wonder sometimes is how do gangs operate? And the reason that I say how do gangs operate is because I be wondering, like, okay, so if you over in Chicago and you over in New York, right? Because there's gangs everywhere and it's people that participate everywhere. How do you let them come in and take over your territory? Because they start in the most impoverished places, and then that's when they start to spread out. How do the Chicago gangs and stuff like that let them come in? What happened to all of the thugs and stuff? What they talking about out here in these streets?
Yeah, it's getting nuts. Well, Leroy, we appreciate what you're doing in New York City, and I'm sure everyone's going to be happy to know what these gang members and how they can spot them. These are the apartment complexes where the migrants came in and where you saw the video of the people coming through with a rifle to knock down a door. We're gonna go see if we can talk to some of the people here. We got some people out here doing some car workshop. We're gonna see if we can talk to them. Hola. These first migrants working on a car outside would not speak to me, and if you guys are still watching this video, I want to remind you to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me out. Here also are not registered. There are no plates on a lot of these vehicles here in this park.
Let me back that up.
A lot of the cars.
So they doing the same thing that you do in the hood. They working on cars outside. They not talking to the police, and they don't have no license plates on their cars. How is that any different than what it is that you experience inside of the hood?
Cars here also are not registered. There are no plates on a lot of these vehicles here in this parking lot. So a lot of people are driving around unregistered vehicles, which also causes a harm because the police can't track what's going down if these people are using these cars for something that is not legal. We got piles of garbage. We got
oh my God. Oh, dog. That's crazy.
a lot of Coca-Cola. We got some cerveza. We got some alcohol right there. And this place is not being maintained by anybody at all. So here at these apartment complexes, they're not being taken care of whatsoever. We got a door through this window right here. And alguien está? And right here, another window is broken through, and they got plywood on the outside of this one. A bullet hole right there. Hola, alguien está aquí? Hola, a bullet come through.
I seen, remember when it was police officers that had came through and it was saying that it wasn't nothing that was happening out there? Let me see if I can find that video.
Right here. So from what you've heard, do you believe that Tren de Araguas have came here? De lo que ha escuchado, ¿cree que Tren de Araguas han llegado aquí?
Por lo que se escucha, dicen que es el tren.
Es una gran posibilidad que sí.
Sí.
When you guys got here to America, did you think you guys would be living in conditions like this?
No.
And right here in this window, it's obvious that a bullet was shot right through there.
Okay.
So do you believe that gang activity is actually happening here? Like bullets, we've seen videos of the migrants that do have guns.
Can I say this? This neighborhood technically always has shootings. Like, this is my thing is, there was a shooting 2 nights ago. They blamed it straight on the Venezuelans. This neighborhood has always had shootings. But what I'll say about it is, yes, when you have people, if they have bad motives and they want to secure this as a foundation, if they do, they will cause hecticness. But what I'm saying is, this neighborhood has always had these issues, and they're blame it on the Venezuelan. Now, the Venezuelans, they came here and they found free rent, free housing. Because the owners of these places are not, they really were slumlords. So people were already living here, drug addicts, prostitutes, but this was an easy place for them to come and say, hey, we're gonna move in and not pay rent. That's what it is.
Has the city done anything?
So what he's basically saying is, so this is more context, all right? So this is more context. What homie is basically saying is, look, man, it's already been bad. This is the hood. This is the hood. This is where the druggies are. This is where the dope fiends are. These guys are slumlords. And so when the Venezuelans came in, they found refuge because they said, oh, this is just like home. This is just like home. We ain't even tripping about it. We feel comfortable. I don't even know if that's I'm pretty sure that that's not a name. We feel comfortable here in Aurora in Pop Me, and we feel right at home. Bullets, flying, shootings. Venezuela. Tren de Araguas, gang, come here. No police. No policia. Policia, go. Gang, here. No worries at all. No. Slumlord. Venezuela gang.
Have they called on any other gangs in the city? Because we know that Denver, like you said, there's a lot of gangs here. Have they called on the gang to try and come maybe fight these Venezuelan gangs?
And that's the situation, is that after the police didn't come in here and raid these places, if there was a lot of problems like there was, people started calling on the local gangs. You guys should go confront them. Like, this is your neighborhoods. When you think about it, it's like, bro, they wanted people to come over here and start basically a war. Let's turn this up and have conflicts where they can actually have something to say, hey, it's going crazy over there.
Yeah, why don't the police come in here instead of the other gangs?
I couldn't even tell you that. That's why when I see all this stuff, why didn't the gangs, when they had the footage of the dudes with the guns, right? If it was gangbangers, they would have came in here and raided the whole situation, and this place would have been flipped, because Colorado, Denver, they put gangbangers on the terrorist list. But they seen this on the footage and they didn't even come in here. So it's kind of like...
There hasn't been one single arrest since that video took place.
No. And these fools had their faces was uncovered. But if it was some gangbangers, they definitely going to come in here. They going to indict the whole neighborhoods around here, you know?
Mm-hmm. So do you think it could have been an inside job by the people that run the government here in Denver?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting to. It's deeper than just Venezuela's invading. It's like...
Hey, when did they start having California gang members over in Aurora? Homie, he talked just like y'all be talking out. Yeah, blood. Yeah, cut. Let me stop. It'd be the imitations that be getting me in trouble.
Like, these dudes set this up. That's how I feel.
Where are all the people from that live inside this apartment complex?
Aquí, la gente que vive aquí, hay personas venezolanas, personas de México, de Honduras, de Brasil, de África. Aquí hay.
Dude feeling real comfortable. Listen, you got to have balls, big balls, to go over into the hood. He's standing right there in the middle of the streets. He right there. He ain't tripping. He got a camera. He got a DJI microphonio. And he right there. He ain't looking behind him. He got the homie right behind him and all of that. Shout out to Nick Shirley getting in the streets.
Personas de todos diferentes países, no nada más venezolanos, como dicen en las redes, que en Aurora, que en los apartamentos solo hay venezolanos y que hay mafiosos y que hay bandas.
Who do you guys pay rent to? ¿Y ustedes? ¿A quién paga su alquiler?
Got a pit bull walking around over there on the left hand. Y'all see the dog that's walking around on the other side? That's the hood. That's what I keep trying to tell people. It's a hood everywhere. Aurora, Denver, Oakland, wherever you want to go, it's a hood. You not no tougher because you was from a certain city. You couldn't survive here. Man, it's a hood in every city, in every state across the United States of America, as far as in the urban cores.
Al dueño de los apartamentos, nosotros por lo menos yo tengo contrato.
Ok, ¿y cuándo usted tiene que pagar para vivir aquí?
1,200 pago yo.
1,200.
1,200 aparte hay que pagar la luz.
$1,200 here. This migrant said she was paying $1,200 in rent. However, in just a few moments, she will reveal how these migrants are actually able to live inside this apartment complex. But first, she let me get a tour of her apartment complex and the apartment complex of her father.
Look at the dogs. You see the dogs? Look at the people. I got to see this apartment tour before we move over to the next thing.
All right, let us in here. Wow. Here on the wall, there's holes. She says the electricity doesn't work, the hot water doesn't run. Not a very good situation inside here. This is the bathroom in here.
You know why I've always been scared to go in other people's homes? And this is why I wouldn't be a good investigative journalist. First of all, investigative journalism is for the younger crowds. All right? That's where you send the people that's just starting to get their feet wet, that's trying to get their foot in the door. All right, you go on this dangerous mission. That's where they be having Mugo in Chicago. They be having Mugo and that other black guy. They be having them running around in Chicago and all of the shootings and stuff like that. Once you get past 30, and especially when you get past 40, and you start to get some money, hablo inglés. I'm not going into the hood. And I always used to be skeptical of going, even like my friends from the hood. So we would go and we would like play Bond. Some people remember Odd Job and all of that. Or we would go and play a lot of different games, right? 2K, all of that. And I just never could go over somebody else's house because one time I went over my homie's house and he stayed a block down from me. And this was back when I was in Detroit. And I went over my homie's house and he was like, oh man, let's go down here. Let's play the game or whatever. And we was like, all right, cool. So we just got done hooping. We went to play the game. And I seen something, a little black thing run across the couch. I was like, and I looked a little closer and I seen some more black things running around. I said, oh no. My mama gonna kill me if I ever bring a roach home. This is real. This is why they don't want to give me my $30 million, because I'm going to tell you the truth. Mama said, don't go over nobody's house that got roaches. Because it only take one. Me no rocho ingle, Rodeo Drive, where the roaches are. Mama said, don't even, dog. No hablo inglés. I went back to the crib. She was like, where you been at? Yeah, we went down the street to the homie's house. She was like, she was looking at me. She was looking at me. She said, she said, they got roaches. I said, I think so. She said, take everything off. Had me out there on my block in the backyard. I kid you not. Had me on the block naked. On the block naked. She said, take everything off, put it in there, and we burning everything. We burnt every single piece of clothing that I had on. I was out there with my slong, slonging it up. out there looking like out there looking like a three-legged chair, like lighting fires. Mama ain't letting you bring no roaches in the house. No. We burning everything. Drawers, undershirt, wife beater, gloves, shoes. It all goes in the trash can. Don't bring nothing into this house. No hablo inglés roaches on Rodale Drive over in the Daniels house.
So the water inside your shower does not drain and there is no hot water.
No sale agua caliente en la ducha. Yo tengo que calentar agua para bañar a los niños y eso se tapa que a veces no baja el agua.
And then obviously the kitchen right here.
Se pone el agua y si no se seca se pone podrida el agua. Entonces tengo que estar secando, dejando un trapo ahí siempre.
And you still have to pay $1,200 just to live here.
Ya por lo menos.
And some of y'all gonna see her walking down the street like, oh, she's so fine.
Estos meses atrás ya el dueño no ha querido recibir ninguna clase de pago.
So now we've hopped over to the next building, and on the windows right here, there's gunshots, bullets. These apartment complexes are in horrible condition. There's also throw up, whether it be a person or a dog.
That ain't nothing but the projects in New York.
Place is absolutely disgusting. Oh. But this one's even worse. She says you can't even live here because the water doesn't even work. There's holes through the roof where water has came through, and you can't use the shower or tub. Anything in this apartment is destroyed. There's cockroaches everywhere in here, and so nobody.
I knew it. This is why I can't be an investigative journalist. That's what. Look, I could deal with the tub being dirty. I could deal with the holes in the ceiling. I could deal with the no heat. I could deal with a lot of things. But the one thing that I can't deal with, one thing is for sure, two things is for certain. I can't do with no roaches. That's it for me. Ooh. A roach, for me, is like a rat for an elephant. You know how they say in the little cartoons that the elephants be jumping around whenever they see a rat somewhere or a little mouse, that they don't like mice and stuff like that? I can't do it. That's it. Hey, cut the camera. It's cockroaches over here. I don't want to go in. I don't want to do no tour. Here, you take the camera, you film it, you give me your thoughts, and you bring me the camera back out. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. It's over. Close. It's out.
Can live or even sleep in here because how bad of condition it is. And does your father still have to pay rent?
Ya el dueño no está recibiendo ninguna clase de pago porque él también está tomando todo esto que de pandillas, de que mafia se está aprovechando de todo esto para sacarnos a nosotros como que si fuéramos perros y no es justo.
And so you say the landlord is not collecting rent, so are the gangs now coming in and charging people dinero?
No, nadie. Aquí nadie nos ha
so they just in there living.
Nada.
And did you think that your life was going to be like this when you came across the border?
She ain't paying no $1,200. She lying. The owners just abandoned the place. The place is just anybody. It's the Carter. They turned it into the Carter.
No, jamás. Me hubiera quedado en mi país. Dicen que aquí ya todo es diferente, las leyes, todo. Uno consigue su buen trabajo, uno sale adelante, puede reunir plática para llevar a su país. Pero no todo es como lo dicen, que el sueño americano simplemente es un sueño. Cuando llegas aquí ya despiertas. No es como lo dicen.
Si alguien le dio un vuelo para regresar, una oportunidad de regresar a Venezuela, ¿regresaría?
Con todo el amor del mundo regresaría a mi país, sí.
She said, listen, this is what she said. I don't believe her. She paused too long. She said, listen, if somebody gave you a flight back to your country, she said, with all of the love in the world, I would go back to Venezuela. It's so bad over here in Aurora. Let me give her a round of applause.
¿Y usted cree que pandilleros han llegado aquí?
Sí, he escuchado tiroteo, pero aquí adentro no he visto a ninguna persona.
Look at homegirl over there. Homegirl over there on the left with the tattoo on her arm sitting there trying to cover her face. Look, man, it's bad out here. Look at them blinds in the back. I ain't never going back to the hood, and I'm not doing no investigative journalism. I thought about it. I said, you know what? That would be great for me to capture some content. I'm going to just let Nick, hey, y'all go subscribe to Nick, Shirley, tell him Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. And Jesus, I can't do it. I'm a little too bougie. You know what I'm saying? We done graduated over here on the Bag Chasers. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, we too bougie. Bug? What, Bug? Bug on Rodale Bugio? Bugio? If y'all ever want to... If you ever want to convert something to Spanish, just put an IO at the end of it. Boguillo, or rodeo, or rochio, no hablo inglés, or IAS. Inglés, or boguillo, and then just say at the end of it. You in there, baby. Hey, don't tell the Mexicans that I told y'all to say that, because then they gonna be telling y'all, oh, Anton gave you the hack. Don't tell them I told you. Put IO at the end of it. Put IO at the end of it, or IAS, and then put at the end of it. You in there, bro. You in there like swimwear. You can communicate. You can go anywhere in the world with that. You can go anywhere in the world with that. Camirio? Live streamio? You in there, dog. I'm telling you. You can go anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world as soon as you say that. Wominio? You there. We taking over the world. Live streamio, we here. Live streamio. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithmio. How that's in the back, Chasey-o. Annie Marie says, I got that super sticker for you. Shout out to Annie Marie. We're going to get to the next part of the show. If I don't get done with this show, then we're going to have to push the Patreon meetup back. The live stream. So y'all got to keep me on task. Well, Building Journey says, y'all see now why y'all need to vote for Trump. Trump ain't playing no game. No rochios in Trump's administracio. Stream King Sneakers and Apparel. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for holding me down. 404 Don Drigo says, I'm becoming Spanish. I'm becoming Spanish. A lot of times they do speak English. However, speaking in Spanish allows them to express themselves more efficiently. That makes sense. Biz Q in the building says, plot twist. Trump grants residency to any illegal that rats out other illegal, because even the illegals said deport, TDA. Bias C. Raw in the building says, my man speaking English. Antonio Daniel Vegas, the Detroit Papi. High Tolerance says, DJ Quick told y'all Denver was just like Compton in 92. It is. Brock in the building says, Pastor Love, offering, I can't stand you sometimes with these bad impressions. Telefonio? That's what they say to us. Y'all be wondering where I get it from. It's because that's where I get it. They be talking to me like that. Whoa, dollar? Like, what the heck is that? Courtney Egger says, fam, just wanted to say I appreciate that one-on-one call we had on Wednesday. I got my calendar set and implemented in everything we spoke on. Let me give a shout out to the Bag Chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Fukari Ferry says, I got a whooping after I called a girl nasty for asking why we didn't have roaches. And the other one, when I told her mama to clean her nasty house. Yes, clean that junk up. Hey, shout out to Hey, says, remember Darcy Adana as Monu from the Balloon Pop Show? She faces up to 16 years in prison for falsely accusing men of sexual assault and extortion. All right, I'm going to check that out. I got you, Hayes. Thank you for sending that to me. Purple Hayes says, no hablo inglés, rochero derivo. Tax Smith says, is it not illegal to allow people to rent a place like this? It is in my state. Annie said, thanks for the laughter this morning, the roach story. Yeah, man, we not playing no games. Shout out to you, AD. I appreciate you. Hey, tell these networks to give me my money so I can go out here and take over the airwaves. Montreal Carroll says, I talked to my pops. He from Saginaw. He told me he was at the UAW meeting yesterday at a meeting about Project 2025. They already gone, Anton. Ain't even no project. Anyways. Jamal Park says, we must protect Anton at all costs. Protect Antonio. Antonio. That's my Mexican version of me. I'm Antonio. To y'all, I'm Anton. To everybody else, I'm Antonio. Antonio Daniels. You know what I'm saying? Tia Marie says Anton might be on to something. I just put the IO at the end of it. Antonio, you see it. Samuel Phillips says just tuning in. Are you and the After Hours crew planning on doing a live reaction to tomorrow's debate? It will. We gonna be streaming it live on the Anton on the After Hours show. It'd be great to hear the panel's live takes. Yep, we gonna do it. We got it. And it's a lot. We got a lot coming up. Skinny Boy says, 14th Super Chat, can I get on a payroll and I'll be investigative reporter from dangerous and uncomfortable situations? We might have to see that. Or I might have to send Quentin. Now we always got to read subtitles. Shout out to Jefe. Shout out to Points of View with Jefe. Jefe in the building. Hispanic people watching the show right now like, roaches is trauma. Facts. King Music in the building says, with the morning task, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm for the greatest show on the face of the earth. And if you're not sending this to Gam Gam, telling her that she's missing out. She watching that boring news instead of watching Anton from AntonDaniels.com. What is she thinking? What is she thinking? And make sure y'all subscribe to the Patreon. All right, spending 10 minutes on this, which is really meaning that we're going to spend 15 minutes. Shannon Sharpe, y'all. Shannon Sharpe. Now, I seen this last night. Obviously, people were sending it to me last night. But I said, okay, I thought I was going to react to it on the Anton Daniels channel. I said, well, we'll just make it a part of, the Millionaire Morning Show, and then we'll go from there. So Shannon Sharpe scolded Chad Ocho Cinco. All right, let's get into it. We're not going to spend no time on this. I want to show y'all the interaction between them two, and then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts really quickly. All right, so let me see if I can fast forward it because I think he got this right here. This is it right here.
Video and I'll be back. Let's pick. His name was Alex. He was really cool dude. And as soon as he opened the car door and he got out the car door to greet me, the car door locked by accident. So I would have been on time, but the fact that we had to wait for the tow truck and them to bring the Slim Jim was the reason for my delay in getting to the hotel a little late. But I'm here now. Let me
ask you a question. So when you go to ESPN, you have people pick you up from the airport?
Yeah.
No, you don't. When you do inside the NFL, you have people pick you up from the airport?
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
No, you don't. So I'm just trying to figure out why with your show would you choose to take that route when you don't take that route for ESPN and inside the NFL?
I wasn't lying. I'm dead serious. When I fly into Philly, I have somebody pick me up from Philly. When I fly into New York, I have somebody pick me up from New York. I'm serious.
That ain't what they told me. I just talked.
Hold on, listen to me now. It's documented. It's documented.
I'm just telling you.
But all you have to do is just search my tweets. I've been doing it the past 15 years. I always do this.
I'm not saying that.
Yes, sir. Talk to me now.
Ocho.
Right.
Again. Ocho, this is part of your show.
Right.
Why would you be late? Why would you run the risk of being late?
Well, I didn't want to be late. I just told you what happened. I would have been on time. But due to unfortunate circumstances of him locking the keys in his car, which I documented, I was just a little late.
Why don't you, Ocho, why don't you just have the people that you're working for, just have them to book your car service?
I don't like car service.
It's okay.
I don't like how them people they be mean and they be bougie. I don't like, they be in suits and ties and shit. That don't make me comfortable. That don't make me comfortable. What makes me comfortable is like being able to sit down and talk. Wait,
you want to be comfortable or you want to be professional?
No, I don't want to be. No, I want to be comfortable. I want to talk to people that I can relate to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just but see, here's the thing, Ocho. You say you want to be professional. You want to do ESPN. You want to do all these professional things, but you want to take a bootleg ride.
No. I want to remain my authentic self the same way I always been and do those things. Is that okay?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Let me know how that work out for you.
So that was a conversation between Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ocho Cinco. All right. And apparently, and this happened on a live. That's the crazy part about it. This happened on a live. Now, let me say this. Anybody that's working for me in particular, or I don't even like to say working for me, anybody that's working with me, all right? You don't hear about stuff that happens behind the scenes because it's a way in which you do it as a boss. Now, I think that there's fault on both sides, and I think that there's growth that can happen on both sides. Number one, Shannon Sharpe is catching L's, and people are really going at his neck right now because they saying that, fresh off the heels of the Cat Williams and the Tyrese and all of these interviews, and every time he catch a dub, he starts to catch an L. And so what they're basically saying is Shannon Sharpe is feeling like he too good, or he getting too big for his britches because of the way that he's talking to Chad Ocho Cinco. Now, here's the part, right? Where Shannon messed up is that he should have had this conversation offline. Unless they just trying to continuously create content. If he's serious about this, then he should have had the conversation offline. If they just trying to make sure that they be so authentic that this is a part of what they do on Nightcap and on a show, and that not only do they talk about the subject, but they talk about things as far as what's happening behind the scenes and how they interact with each other, kind of like a reality show, then if that's the case, then that's a completely different conversation. That's not what it seems like. And Shannon Sharpe, as a boss or as a person, and I'm not saying that all of us is perfect because we all have gaps and ways that we can go about improving, but Shannon Sharpe, if Chad is his homeboy, then that's a conversation that he should have had offline. And that's one of the things that I've had a problem with. And I've always had an issue when I see people say stuff out loud. When me and Charleston White got into it, the thing that I got pissed off about was, how you going to go to the internet and start talking to another interviewer about something that we supposed to be talking, or, if you got a problem with me, then we can handle this offline, or we just keep it moving like professionals. When Freezy, to a lesser extent, he wasn't a homeboy because I never met him in real life. But when he just started going off and started talking out loud, and I'm like, man, where y'all do this from? The real ones don't put business out there, and if brothers have different disagreements, or even professionally, if we have disagreements and this is what we handle offline, we don't bring that to the general public. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of my stance on it, is that if we have a problem in real life, then we handle it offline and we keep it moving offline if we brothers and if we moving in that way. If we not brothers, then that's a completely different conversation. We can talk about that, but we still don't put personal business out there. If we want to compete as far as platforms or whatever, we can do that. We can go back and forth, just keep it content. But I never, ever like to include personal business from people that I know in real life online. That's just a no-no for me. I don't care about this content creation stuff. You don't put real life situations online unless you're creating content behind it and the other person is in on it. So that's number one. The second thing is, Chad Ocho Cinco has been doing this for years. I know for at least the last 10 to 15 years, his brand has always been, I'm a person of the people. He's been preaching his frugal thing. He gives like $500 to anybody that picks him up from the airport. I don't think that it's safe. I think that it is very, very scary at this point because he is a celebrity. He is big. He is mad. He has a huge image. And so on one end, I can say, well, this is how Chad has always been, and this is who you get. On another end, I can also say that I think that Chad Ocho Cinco at some point need to evolve, because this could be a setup. I know this is authentic. I know this is who he is. And I know that he's saying that he's never been late before. And so you got to give grace also. But at the same time, you have to put dedication into your craft. And Shannon is right in that if you want to go to the next level, if he's giving him game, hey, listen, this is how you want to go to the next level. This is how you want to get to the next part of the game. Then this is how you play it. Chad Ocho Cinco, although we always like to align with people that keep it real and all of this stuff, and I don't think that he did it maliciously. I just think that it was an oversight. At the same time, I think that he needs to evolve, and it's time to grow up, and it's time to grow past that, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're dependent on somebody and they not dependable because you got a schedule to keep and it's big money that's being missed out on as a result of it. So Shannon Sharpe should have handled it differently. Chad Ocho Cinco, in my opinion, got to evolve and grow. I know that that's a part of his brand. I think that they both should give each other grace, and they should not let this affect their relationship and the great thing that they put together. But, you got to be more professional. Even if you're giving the appearance that is willy-nilly, you got to be more professional, and you got to handle it a little bit differently. So, again, I don't think that it's malicious. I just think that they could have handled that offline. And And this didn't have to necessarily hit the internet. Now, I heard that Shannon tried to clear it up a little bit because he was also expressing disdain, and he was feeling some type of way about the fact that his team that they got editors, they got camera people, they got other people that's a part of the show, that the team and the lighting and the audio and all of this stuff is not operating the way that it's supposed to. So he did express some frustrations on that. Let me see if I can find that part. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I want to find that because I got to keep it moving. But that's largely what happened. Shannon Sharpe kind of scolded and sunned Ocho Cinco. And it wasn't like an inspiring thing like, hey, man, I'm pushing you to be better. I want you to be greater. It was more like, hey, man, I'm holding you accountable for not being on time. It be people that don't be on time. It be people that have life circumstances. People get off of work late. They dealing with stuff. And I'm talking about on my side. And of course, I know that I'm not as big as Nightcap. But on my side is people all the time that be having problems and issues, or, you know, they got to take vacations and stuff. And I just have to adjust around it, and we figure it out offline. And I never go off and I never scold my people. I just work with them, and I just try to figure out how we can move around it and how we can make adjustments so that we, you know, can continue to keep the show moving, because the show got to go on regardless of whether you're here or not. So that's just my approach to it. I try to take it a little bit differently and a little bit more professional offline. And part of that is also because I've ran a lot of businesses. And then I've also operated in corporate America, where you had to maintain a level of professionalism regardless of what the circumstances is. So that's just my thoughts. Y'all might have a different opinion. I'm curious as to what y'all think inside of the chat. Let me know. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we'll move over into the final portion of the show. All right. Mr. Martinez says, best morning show in America, hands down. Ain't nobody messing with us, Mr. Martinez. Ain't nobody touching us. Samuel Phillips says, also Harris finally dropped her issues on her website. We only have 57 days to the election and 2 days possibly from the debate. Yep, I'll go over that. We're going to tackle that on the Anton Daniels channel. Maybe we'll tackle it here tomorrow. Chad is still a Liberty City ninja. Yeah, at some point we got to go from keeping it real to keeping it real professional, because we got to get this money. All right? Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. See, I kept it 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes on the next segment also. People are complaining online about the uptick of repossessions. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to it.
So I was just on Instagram, and if you ever wanted to know why buying a house is so much more complicated than purchasing a car, this is a good reason why.
Here's another reason to make your car payment on time. Ford in the process of a patent application for self-driving cars to drive away from their owners. After a series of missed payments, Ford's proposal will force the car to drive itself to a repossession agency.
I think that that's what's eventually going to happen anyway, especially with these autonomous driving. And don't get mad at the people at the manufacturers and say, well, you know, we couldn't, you know, if we couldn't afford our payment and none of that, all of that type of stuff. No, listen, pay your car note. You ain't got to have to worry about it. Actually, I'll do you one better. If you pay off your car and you get something that you can afford, you don't have to worry about repossessions, and we throw that away in the first place. If anybody has ever had a repossession in their life, and I have, all right, 2007, 2008 was not kind to me at all. I was like, you know what? I'm never going through this again. I got all of my cars repossessed. I stacked my money and I went and paid for a car cash, and I said that I'm never going through this again. If anybody has ever had a repossession before, you know that it is not a pleasant feeling. Your neighbors is going to know about it. The people that surround you going to know about it. Your family members going to know about it. They know that you pulling up in that jalopy after you just had a repossession, is you can't finesse. Nah, man, you know what? I just got tired of having a car note, so I'm moving a little differently now. No, you wanted your car and you couldn't afford it no more, and so they took it out of your hands because it was something that wasn't best for you. Anybody that's ever had a repossession before knows that it is not a pleasant feeling and it's embarrassing. Then you got to start announcing, you know what, man, I'm tired of this. I'm just thinking about giving my car. No, you can't afford it, big dog. You should have never had that Challenger and that Charger Hellcat that you're paying $1,300 a month for in the first place. The real finesse is paying off everything. All right? Let's get into this.
2015, I got a 2015 fucking Chrysler 200. Yo, my car was running on those run flats forever because I could not afford to get them replaced. Mind you, I got
not the spare tire run flats.
Got the car because my fucking sugar daddy put the down payment on it. When we broke up, I said, who paying that? God. Katie can't afford that. Yo, me and the lady that was collecting the money was so good friends at that point because she really was on it. She would call me. She's like, Katie, don't you hang up. Don't take my car, because I ain't got no car.
Looked like she needed an 8. She should have fixed that with the sugar daddy. Sugar daddy had her sitting right. See, that's the key. That's the key. Fellas, if you're going to take care of a woman, I don't care what position that she in, if you're going to start, because I know a lot of y'all like to simp out and say, oh, man, I want to handle 100% of the bills. If I get one more guy that call me and I say, hey, man, so what's going on? Yeah, man, I got a girlfriend. I'm thinking about marrying her. Okay, so what's the goal with her? You know, I want her to not have to work. I want to take care of 100% of the bills. She got a kid or something? Y'all got kids together? No. So what's she going to be doing all day? This is what y'all do for all of y'all that's simping out. Now, I advise you not to simp out, but if you're just going to force yourself to simp out, then this is what you do. Number one, preferably put it in her name, all right? If you're going to be simping and paying a car note, then pay the car note. Don't pay the car off in full, because if she decide to leave or get another guy and have him sitting, if you get in the car and the car is all the way like this, if the seat is all the way like this, if you get in and the passenger seat is like this, another dude done been in there. Another dude done been in there. If you listen, don't let her tell you she fell asleep in the passenger side while she was at work. Don't let her tell you that her brother was in it. If the side passenger seat is like this, or the driver's seat, it's another man and been in there. Either tell her to take over the payments, or we're going to be repossessing it ourselves. Either tell her to take over the payments or repossess it yourself. All right? Never a good idea to pay off and buy a chick a car and just give it to her. This is on condition. This is a month-to-month contract that you own. That's what Nate told you to do.
She said, Katie, you better pay at least 1 month out of the 3, bitch, because you about to get that car repo.
I feel like a failure, and it goes so much further.
Let me start over from the beginning. I think I might have heard this one wrong. This might have been slowed down.
Because you about to get that car repo.
I feel like a failure, and it goes so much further than that.
Oh, man. Jesus, Lord, why you do this to me? Why you throw this this monkey wrench into my plans? No? I'm just trying to make it. I'm trying to make it. We in monk mode on day one. Day one of monk mode did not call for this type of aggression, Lord. Be offense. Be offense. Be with us. Take care of us. Rebuke obstacles, accidents, incidents, run-ins with the police, tickets, problems, and trouble. In Jesus' name, amen. Jesus Christ. We gonna get through this, y'all.
I am currently sitting in a vehicle that is technically no longer mine.
Is that chest hair?
I am surrendering it to the lender, so they will be repossessing it. I can no longer afford it. I can't afford the upkeep, the insurance, anything to do with it. I bought it brand new in 2015, shortly after buying a house. The house is since gone. And I have paid.
So you lost your house and your car, and you bought it in 2015? What is that, a 9-year payment?
More on this vehicle than it was ever worth. I'm just taking this video as like posterity.
And he got a middle part busted.
Had a lot of adventures with my dogs. I've driven across the country and to Canada multiple times. I've moved across the country a couple times. We've had all kinds of stuff in here, including 4 cats and 2 rabbits.
Got rabbits in his car. Is he a rabbit lady?
We've moved a hamster. Yeah, so this vehicle will be going bye-bye. Just another symbol of my failure as a human being, and it sucks. And I don't know when I will ever own a vehicle again. And that sucks too. Being 50 years old and in this position is not something I wish.
Yo, listen. You got bigger life problems, and the fact that you're losing your car is just a reflection of it, big dog. If you are 50, if you are a 50-year-old man that is more than 300 pounds, and you have blonde hair, and you got the Miss Doubtfire thing going on, and you lost your house, your car, and you a cat lady on top of it, you got life issues. Life is kicking your ass. Life is lifing on your ass. That's a fact. If this is you, life is lifing on you, and you just need to go and give your life back to Jesus. Honest to God. God is trying to call on you and tell you something. The devil has had a hold on your life for the entirety of the time. If you sitting there with brown eyebrows and blonde hair, and you got repossessed, and you 300 pounds, and you sassy, God is dealing with you. Yeah, God is dealing with you. God is calling for you to go back. Come on back to the kingdom. God is dealing with you. I honestly believe that. I believe that if you get into a space where you 50, you 50, and this is what your life look like, I'm not giving you no financial advice. I'm going to just tell you to go and get some prayer. Facts.
But she was good to me. We went a lot of places. We did a lot of things.
That's crazy.
And I love her, and I always will, but
no,
in
it's
the
not
end,
well.
It's just a vehicle.
Y'all just be chilling. And, he need to go into monk mode like the rest of us. Monk mode.
Boy, getting your vehicle repossessed will humble your ass. One of my neighbors.
Oh, she look like a Nate candidate.
Had a BMW, right?
She a Nate candidate.
Speak sometimes look at you like you ain't shit. I saw them repo people take his shit. I just saw him. He wouldn't even look my way because he embarrassed. See, let me tell you something. And I've tasted repossession before, baby. I've tasted it. That initial blow, that shit hurt. But one thing I always did, I always had a backup vehicle. I don't give a damn if it's a hoopty. Because one thing I learned about when you buy these vehicles, anything can happen.
So let me ask y'all a question. If y'all have a backup vehicle, then why not just drive the vehicle that you got backed up and keep all of the money in insurance, gas, car notes, maintenance, all of that stuff? Why don't y'all just keep the vehicle that y'all got, and why are you holding out? Because that don't make sense to me either. Why shouldn't the backup vehicle be the main vehicle? Because the backup vehicle gonna become the main vehicle anyway, and you're gonna have a repossession on your credit, and you already out of all of the money that came along with being with that other vehicle. So you paid all of this money in interest, you paid all of the insurance, you paid all of the gas, you paid all of the maintenance, only for it to go back to the finance company when you should have been driving a backup vehicle as the main vehicle in the first place, stacking your money and then letting your money make your money on top of it so you can buy whatever it is that you want when you want to. That don't make sense to me.
Your money. And you want to make sure that you're not a slave to that shit. When they took my shit, I was in something else. I wasn't finna cry about that shit. Yeah, the initial, because you be done put all that money in them shits, but at the same time, keep you a backup vehicle and don't be no slave to these high-ass fucking payments.
Getting your car repossessed is definitely not anything I recommend that you go through. I remember when it happened to us. I vividly remember receiving the call that our car got repossessed. Me and Tommy were just about to get married. His car had went out, so he was using mine.
Yo, y'all struggle with trauma. I'm getting it. I'm starting to get it. I'm catching it. It's making sense. Y'all struggle trauma is crazy. Real talk. Like, I don't want to be in that space. I don't want to be in a space where I'm getting married into poverty. I don't want to marry in. Now, I understand that married folks go through things and life happens and all of that, but I don't want to marry into poverty. You know, Like, I want to start off on the good foot. Maybe we go through a little bit of tumultuous stuff so we can go through it to get to it. You know, we wasn't expecting it. I'm not marrying into poverty. I'm not getting married 3 months behind on my car payment, about to get evicted. I don't want to be poor together. I can go through it with you, but I don't want to be poor together, because that just means that we was making bad financial decisions before we came together. And we can't do nothing for each other. We can't save each other. I'm good. I'm good on marrying into poverty. We don't need to be together. We just need to go into monk mode, and just focus on ourselves. All right?
And I remember I was in the bed slumped because I was working part-time at the bank. I was working afternoons, and Tommy was going to work early in the morning, like around 8 o'clock. And I got a phone call from him, and I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, did you come get the car? And I'm like, what do you mean, did I come get the car? Like, I'm still half delirious.
And they was sharing a car, so both of them ain't got no car now?
So I'm like, why would I come get the car? And I'm like, no, I didn't come get the car. I'm in the bed sleep. He's like, well, the car is not here. And I'm like, what do you mean the car is not?
And you be hoping that somebody stole the car, but you know that the repo man came and got it, because you know that the finance company had been calling and asking you where the car was located in the first place. So now you just delaying inevitable. Hey, did you come get the car? You know they ain't came and get no car. You know it was the repo man to get that car.
He's like, I came outside to go to work. The car is gone. And have y'all ever like overslept for work or for something like that? Like you snoozed your alarm, but you didn't have another alarm set. You went back to sleep, and then like you had the best sleep of your life. And then out of nowhere, you just woke up like in terror because you knew you were late. That is how I woke up out the bed when it finally clicked in my head what he was saying. I was like, oh my God. Like I knew what happened immediately. I got on the phone with Wells Fargo. The first thing they said to me was, do you still have the car in your possession? Child. And you know that you in hot water, honey, when you call the line, it automatically transfers you to another line. And they say, this is an attempt to collect a debt. Oh my God, y'all. When I tell you that I just wanted to literally throw up and slide down the wall in slow motion, it was terrible. Now, it was so much money to get that car back. We had to pay over $1,000 because that's how far I was behind, plus like $300 to get the car back from storage. And like I said, we were about a month out from our wedding, and this is actually where I originally mentioned the car getting repossessed in the video where I was talking about us being just young and like dumb and not thinking about finances, you know, and our car getting repossessed happened in the midst of all that stuff. And thankfully my family was able to help us out. We got the car back, but y'all, I just do not recommend people ever go through that. Like, if you can avoid it, because it is just not fun. And that is one of the reasons why I'm like so against getting a car that we cannot afford right now, because getting your car repossessed teaches you a couple lessons. Number one, it took us even a couple years after that to really understand that we need to budget better and have a budget that is realistic. Number two, like, do not get a car you can't afford.
All of this is crazy. The car you can afford is the car that you can save up and pay cash for. That's what my stance is on it. I'll continue these because I want to go through these, so I'll finish them up tomorrow. I got to prepare for Stock Club. We're going to push it back 15 minutes. So instead of doing it at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to do it at 11:45. 11:45, we're going to do it at 11:45, all right? So, yeah, the best way to budget is to save for it. That's the way that you really can teach yourself to budget for the thing that you really want, and don't put yourself in this position in the first place, all right? Let me read some of these super chats, and we'll get y'all up out of here, and we're going to prepare for Stock Club, all right? No Lames TV says, buy Nissan Altima Cash and don't worry about the repos. Don't worry about the repos, all right? We're going to be saying that all the time. People are going to be wondering where we got that from. A-Man says, nah, you can't afford that dog, big dog, for real. People be having a bunch of pets. Tax Smith says, got people putting boots on their own cars to keep them from driving away. Jerry Early says, repossession don't feel good at all. Thanks, Anton. Hawaii. Shout out to the Hawaiis. Hawaii Kiki. AJ Wise says, I had my car repoed in 2007. They garnished my checks for the difference in 2019. That hurts. Jeremy H says, Anton, I sent you a news report about a 12-year-old in D.C. who robbed multiple car dealerships but isn't being arrested because he's a minor. Crazy. Chris Mayberry says, it feels like it looks like a failure. If you ever want to know what a failure looks like, get your car repossessed. Mr. Martinez says, Mr. Anton, we definitely need some Don't Be a Dusty t-shirts. Please. I got the merch line coming out soon now we got the website up. Levite Apparel says, was trying to watch quiet, but who was that person? Anton said, I'm just trying to make it, Lord. Just trying. One day at a time, y'all. Monk mode. One day at a time. Shout out to Brock. I appreciate you. Mr. Joe says, I know that car smelled crazy right before he give it back. Chris Mayberry says, we're 2K with the oh shit. Shout out to 2K out there killing it. Anastasio says, day one monk mode in the building. Devastator says, if you can't pay the car note, don't get the car. Meantime, Ultima bumper missing. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Man, if y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers, if y'all not a part of the Patreon, then you're definitely missing out. We're going to go ahead and get that popping in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes. I got to switch over, go use the restroom, wash my hands. And we there. So thank y'all for continuing to tune in to the greatest morning show in the world. Send this to your family and friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. I see a couple people has just recently hit the down button. That works just as well as the thumbs up button, so I'm cool with that. I guess some of them may have gotten their car repossessed, so they may be behind on some bills and they feeling some type of way. But join the Bag Chasers. We can fix that for you. All right, we got Stock Club coming up. That is in the Patreon. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Q show tonight. We getting it popping. Make sure y'all there. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.